Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World Series of Board Gaming's grand semi-final. We're doing the live commentary, or at least post-production commentary of Dune and Imperium. My name is Chris George, but you're not here to see me because we have, again, back with us designer extraordinaire Paul Denon. Thanks for coming back and commenting. I'm excited to look at another game of Dune with you.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me back. Yeah, the last time was fun, and I look forward
Mhm.
to casting this game with you, Chris.
Yeah, it was a really good game last time. We covered the ring final, which was the overall tournament of Dune. Everybody played Dune for the full day, and someone came away with that coveted ring. If you haven't seen that, that's on Dice Tower right now as well. But we're covering today the World Series of Board Gaming semi-final. And so what that is that every single person at this table is a tournament ring winner. They won, they fought their way through a tournament of their choice, but none of them won the Dune Imperium final. It was drawn randomly. And so we're going to see how these players adapt on the fly in the glorious game of Dune. And I'm really excited to check it out.
Neat. So, did any of these players participate in the Dune tournament, and
I'm
they happen to win other events? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think a couple of them might have. I know guaranteed a few of them didn't. I know a few of them felt fairly confident going in. We do the drawing late at night the night before, and often people will stay up and practice if they need to,
Oh,
which
right.
is honestly a great segue. They probably wish that they had the Dune Imperium digital version available for them to
Yeah.
do that practicing at that time. Now, next year, if Dune Imperium is drawn again, they're going to have the ability to practice up. When did Dune Imperium Digital launch, Paul?
Probably about a month ago now, and it's only on computers.
Mm,
PC, Mac.
yeah.
So it's on Steam. So in future tournaments, hopefully it'll be on mobile devices so people could more easily access it. But it's available now on Steam, and they're quite good. The team keeps improving it, patching it, fixing little bugs that the community is finding, and we love hearing from the community on how to improve the product. So far so good. People seem to love it.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's always a joy to have a really good digital implementation. And who better to design that than Direwolf Digital, really?
Yeah, I
Right?
can't. I hardly can take credit for it because I don't work primarily on the digital team. That team kind of knocks it out of the park. They
Yeah.
they put a lot of love and passion into every project. This is our first kind of direwolf game that we're making.
Cool.
We've done several other companies' board games, and yeah, the team does a great job.
Awesome. That's really thrilling. Well, I'm thrilled to see how these players react and respond with their own individual skill sets. That's why I love the format of the World Series of Board Gaming, is because you get this gaming. Your gaming skills can be applied to other games, right? If you're a good gamer, you're a good gamer, and so I'm excited to see who's able to eke out a victory here. But before we do, I do want to let you all know about a special promotion that you're running out of time to get. So roll the commercial.
You could win your share of $100,000 in cash and prizes just for playing board games. The World Series of Board Gaming is back and bigger than ever. High-level play, friendly competition, national championships, there's no other event of its kind. Are you the next big name in board gaming? Get your tickets now at WSBGVegas.com and use the code EARLYBIRD to save up to $100. So what are you waiting for? It's time to get in the game.
That's right. You can get yourself $100 off using the code EARLYBIRD if you want to come to the World Series of Board Gaming and just have a fun 5 days of just playing board games. That's it, in various levels of competitive nature and just playing some really good, solid games. Come join us September 22nd to the 26th in Las Vegas at the Horseshoe Casino. I'm excited. But let's get into them. Enough with the preamble, Paul. Let's get into the match. It's going to be a nice, juicy one. So let's turn it over to the game right now.
Sounds good.
All right, so here we are, turned over to the table. You'll see the players are just about to start drafting their characters for the WSBG tournament. We'll have them drafting in reverse player order, so fourth position gets to pick their character first. You can maybe see a little flash of cards there. Fourth position will be in the bottom right corner, and that will be Scott Leader. Scott Leader, who is the Azul champion. You can check out that live stream on the Dice Tower as well. And Scott Leader instantly drafts Helena. Wow, they're drafting quickly. In the top right, Scott Kushner. We have two Scots at this table. Scott Kushner, our Seven Wonders champion, pulls out Baron Harkonnen. Alex Shu, the winner of Acquire in the top left, has drafted the Beast. Three of these characters we saw in our Dune ring final. Maybe they were taking notes from the champion and picking out which ones to take. And then finally, in the bottom left, we have David Meredith, who is the winner of Raw in 2023 and also is a returning ring champion, the winner of Ticket to Ride in 2022, drafts Leto Atreides as well. So that's a new one. That's a new one from our last commentary. I think Torvald was drafted in our first in that ring game. So that's the only change. But yeah, those are our four competitors, our four ring winners of the tournament, now trying their hand at Dune Imperium. What's interesting to me is the order of Helena and Baron drafted in the exact same order. Why do you think that is, Paul?
I think Helena appears to be popular in fourth position with the community because in fourth position you kind of have a disadvantage at buying the best card on the row in the first round. So Helena players hope to hit their signet ring in the first round and kind of spike away one of those good cards away from the rest of the players and kind of like invert the buy order.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then Baron also just being a pretty strong character. I never lean towards Baron though when I play. I prefer kind of permanent abilities over one-time abilities. That's just the style of game that I like to play. I like to capitalize on the permanent abilities. But Baron's signet ring ability is also very powerful, being able to play and get those intrigue cards early on.
Yeah, I mean, his nephew, the Beast's signet ring, is arguably better. Right? Like the Beast starts out with a little bit of amount of resources, but really the power of the Beast is getting troops with his signet ring. And once he gets an alliance, being able to get 2 troops with a signet ring, just kind of, that's over the top compared to most signet rings.
Yeah. So the Beast maybe wants to keep a more streamlined deck so that that signet ring can pop up more frequently.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as important as, being opportunistic, but if you can keep a streamlined deck and get an alliance, like that's the trick with the Beast. Like if you don't get an alliance, then your signet ring's just making 1 troop. The Baron does have like a powerful signet ring, but it has a cost of Solari, which is quite a cost. Like it creates opportunity costs for you early in the game. Like you need to find Solari to keep it powered. It slows you down a bit at getting the Swordmaster or High Council.
Right. Yeah, that's true. We see the first conflict card be revealed as players are looking over their initial hands. David just going to play his starting move, but this is a point right off the bat. There's only 1 out of the 4 potential first conflict cards that can pop up that can do this for you, and we've got a point right off the bat, making for an intriguing first battle.
Yeah, we might see the Baron if the other players let him go to Hardy Warriors and just trigger his Master Stroke immediately and get those 2 influence with the factions, just because a point might be worth it to him.
Right.
But an interesting opening with Leto. I guess it makes sense. He's going. Well, did he play a signet ring?
Yeah, he played a signet ring to go and get 3 money up at the secure contract area.
I'm confused why he would play his. Well, I guess he's probably thinking, I'm not going to have spice this round, so I am not ever going to get an influence by catching somebody who moves up an influence track.
That's true.
It's reasonable. Because harvesting spice in the first round, you don't get any bonus spice, he might have, diplomacy or seek allies in his hand, and he just didn't have the action to put towards gathering spice.
Yeah. That's a tough pull. We see Alec, the Beast, going for that spice, spending his water right away to get that 3 spice, and then we also see the Emperor in the yellow gold color going for a pretty standard Emperor move, making sure to get that Solari that was denied to him going to the secure contract, wanting to get that Solari so that he can capitalize on that signet ring.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a conscious block by Leto.
And then we're in blue, we have Helena, who just went up to Carthag, getting a troop and an intrigue card, and deciding. You can see Scott Leader just holding those cubes, deciding if he's going to push stuff in and how many. Up to 3 he can push in.
Yeah,
what did you do here? Push 3 right in? Oh,
well, he did.
Makes the big play.
I would be wary of that, because now, let's say somebody else, like the Baron, goes to Hardy Warriors and pushes in 4. What do you do? You've committed 3. Like, that doesn't put you in a great spot. So I'd be a little hesitant to do that, but, it depends what intrigue card he drew.
That's true. And because he played his signet ring, Helena gets to reserve a card, and so he immediately pulls Kwisatz off the board.
So I think he's just removing it from the game at this point.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that he's going to get 7 persuasion?
I think it's pretty improbable of getting 7 persuasion, trying to take that 8 cost card off the board, but wouldn't you know it, the other 8 cost card, the Chome directorship pops up immediately.
That's incredible.
This is a really bonkers starting board. We haven't talked about it. We were talking about it before we started rolling, just about how wild it is seeing those powerful cards just up top. I think that is a denial play, though. I think he's worried. I think he feels like if anyone were to get it other than him at the beginning of the game, it's a very powerful card to have. And so just removing it from play feels reasonable.
I guess, but nobody else is going to get it in this first round, and he'd be giving up a discount and maybe getting something good for himself. Like, what if he can get Thufir or Gurney? Like, it would surely be better to get one of those cards than to just do a theoretical deny from the rest of the table. So I don't know. I'm curious to know what his hand looks like. I wonder if he thinks he has a chance, because he can always go to Arakeen and look for another card.
Yeah, it's true. Or if he drew something with that intrigue card, you could go to the Hall of Oratory and pick up that extra 1. And then if he's got both of his convincing arguments, in his hand.
Yeah, if he spiked a charisma as his intrigue card, that's 2 persuasion right there. Like, it is possible.
It is possible to get. I would like to see it in play, because it is just such a strong card. If Helena can get that right off the bat with that discount, that feels like a huge boon. You basically are getting a free action every round and being able to capitalize on that. Yeah, well, every round you draw it.
It's the strongest card to buy in the early game by far.
Yeah.
By the way, Duke Leto pushed in 2 troops here. I find that a little suspect. Like, that's his last action for the round. I guess this is a really good second place for a conflict 1, so I guess True. I can understand this.
Yeah, there's an intrigue card and 2 Solari, but I expect also, we're coming off watching, Dune players who won their way into the final, and it is worth saying that these players, there may be some misplays just due to unfamiliarity with the game and due to how much they were able to study up and adapt on the fly.
Was that that was an early reveal by the Beast to get space travel? Is that what just happened?
I think it might have been Baron. I think we might have.
No, Baron's playing now. I think Baron's going to go to Hardy Warriors and go over the top of. Nope, Baron went to Secrets. So I feel like, because the road just changed, I feel like Alec Shu just revealed with the Beast and took space travel?
I think I saw the space travel going into it's in the Baron's discard pile up in the top right, with Scott Kushner. So I
Oh,
think
I was misunderstanding. You're right. I was misunderstanding how the
the
screen
layout
was
was,
laid out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the left side we can see Alec and Scott, who are in the top of the screen, and on the right side we can see, well, Scott Leader and David Meredith, who are in the bottom of the screen,
Okay.
framed that way for the market row to be visible. But yeah, it looked like an early reveal from the Baron, because I can still see one of his people on his mat.
Yeah. So what color is the Baron? Just so that I'm getting
the Baron is yellow.
Okay.
Played by Scott Kushner in the top right. Alec is playing the Beast in red in the top left. Leto is in green in the bottom left, played by David Meredith. And then the bottom right, we have Helena in blue, played by Scott Leader.
Yeah. Such a strange reveal. Early reveal by the Baron.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he really wanted space travel, but space travel is not. It's only a 3-cost card, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not a tier 1 card.
So with that early reveal, it also denies the Baron a chance of pushing in. We also see Alec. Alec took a fold space and went to influence on the Spacing Guild, and so doesn't push in as well. It seems like Scott Leader is going to get that early point with just that 3-cube push right from the beginning. They're talking about it now. No entry cards, no entry cards. So I think we had a reveal phase also from Scott Leader down in the bottom. He was not able. It doesn't look like he was able to purchase that big 8-cost Quaisats. Am I pronouncing that incorrectly? I think I am.
Kwisatz Haderach, I believe.
Kwisatz. Just a rapid fire round in that first round, and again, some really, really shocking plays here.
Yeah, little unfortunate that Green pushed 2 troops in there, ended up, with second place. Could have just pushed 1.
Could have pushed 1, but wanted to make that statement, I think, to get second place. Was probably worried if they pushed 1, somebody else would overbid them.
It scares people off. So this is an interesting conflict to be the second conflict in the game. It is purely Solari. It's just 6 for the winner, 4 for second place, 2 for third place. This is the kind of conflict that if it pops up in round 6, sometimes nobody cares about it, and you see a lot of people just taking an off turn, maybe pushing in a troop to try to get some money. But at this stage of the game, it can be really important to take first or second here.
Yeah.
Which leaves the people who stayed out of combat in round 1 pretty happy to see it, usually.
That's true. A good thing for Baron and for the Beast. The Beast having a ton of Solari, though, just now having chosen the first action going to sell, selling that spice that he accrued, now having 9 Solari there, clearly going for the Swordmaster on this next play. Unless maybe with the board state as it is, the market as it is, might we see a High Council over a Swordmaster? I might push for that personally, because there are so many high value cards in the row. Nobody was really able to purchase anything, and I think that might be another reason why Scott Kushner, as the Baron, decided to reveal early, knowing that no one would have the money to buy something and wanting to just get a little foot forward on improving his deck. but still, it feels like you gotta take your worker actions when you can.
Yeah, especially if you can like still get you'll be able to get a 2 persuasion card guaranteed because of the
Yeah,
Arrakis liaison. So if the Baron could have like even just gone to the Imperial Basin, got 1 spice, pushed 1 troop, get 2 Solari for 3rd place,
yeah,
I have to think that that's better than upgrading a liaison to a space travel. Not that space travel is a bad card, every once in a while it becomes critical to have the spacing guild at the right time in the mid to late game.
yeah.
So you never know, that investment could come back to pay dividends.
Especially if in the late game of needing to go to the Highliner and get those troops to push in.
Exactly.
That's what we saw in the last Dune. Highliner, the ability to manipulate that Highliner spot and throw your weight around in that end game was crucial to our winner's success. So currently we're at. Oh, I think the Baron might have rolled back his turn. I thought I saw a placement on the 3 Solari, but Baron Scott Kushner ends up going for just the 2 spice, and we'll probably see him push a cube in at least.
I presume until you pass the card
Yeah.
that says it's your turn. If you didn't draw a card or draw an intrigue card, it's fine to undo actions.
Correct. Yeah. As long as the sort of board state or information state doesn't change, you'll see this little white card you'll see the players passing around. That indicates my turn is done. I've officially ended my turn. It's over to you to take your turn now and to check to make sure that like everything I did was okay, was legal, right? You do a double check. You kind of keep each other accountable in that regard. It's just an easy way to keep everybody on the same page where you say my turn is over, officially locked in, no takebacks, that style of thing.
By the way, love to see Scott Kushner wearing his ring, using his ring hand to move troops around, maybe trying to intimidate the other players.
Well, I would think David Meredith would want to be showing off his 2 rings,
his 2022
right, and his 2023 ring. David Meredith, one to watch out for. One of the only 2 people who's won rings in both years of the World Series of Board Gaming.
Wow, that's incredible.
The other player you can see in the background behind Alex's shoulder, that's Levi Moreno, who won Terraforming Mars both in 2022 and 2023. So David, the only one who's won in 2 different events, which in this style of tournament where you want to be the best at multiple events might give him an edge. But it also feels like David might be the least familiar with Dune Imperium. If my memory serves, I think I saw him checking some rule sheets, checking some last minute tips before the game began. Plays the dagger.
Totally understandable. I mean, it's so hard, the level that these players have to achieve in 16 games. But yeah, I always respect anybody who can win Raw. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh, it's so good. That's actually what's being played as the other semifinal again, with Levi sitting over Alex's shoulder by the Game Theory Tables sign. Game Theory Tables, of course, the official table sponsor of World Series of Board Gaming. You can see that they were playing on their mats. We're covering up most of it, but you see the little Game Theory by the Beast Alex player board up there.
Wait, he just placed a solar.
Showing the 5 days of tournament.
A little fatigue.
A little fatigue happening. Taking the Mentat, punting it down the line. Going for the Mentat. That's one of your favorite plays, isn't it, Paul?
I love to see it, especially when you're Duke Leto and it only costs 1. Mm-hmm. And now, were the leader picks were public? So So he knew that nobody had taken Ilban, Count Ilban, when he chose, which it's great to hop onto either Leto or Ilban at that point, because those 2 leaders tend to sometimes fight over the Mentat, which they can hurt each other.
Right. Yeah, I really like Leto. The Mentat play, we're going to see that a lot from David, I'm sure. It's just the optimal it's the optimal space for Leto to go. One Solari gets you a card cycle and more information about where people are played.
Yep.
I really like Leto. I really like the other Atreides as well, Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet Trades.
Yeah,
Yes.
the official title. Just being able to look at the top card of your deck, I think that's such a cool ability. To know if you want to go for that card draw or not. Gives you that flexibility.
Yep. Has not, certainly Paul Atreides has not been seen as a top tier leader, so we don't tend to see him in these kind of final games like this.
Mhm.
But certainly a fun, one of
Yeah.
my most favorite to play leaders in the game.
And we see that the Swordmaster the Beast has gotten his Swordmaster quickly. I like that play. I might have been tempted to go for the High Council myself, just with so much power in that market row.
Yeah, if you can get Gurney Halleck early in the game,
Yeah,
he can be a snowball card. If you can keep drawing him, and he helps you to keep drawing himself because he draws a card on play. So if you can send him to like Arakeen over and over, you can kind of bully other players. And personally, I love to pick up Sardaukar infantry in a lot of games early in the game to bully other players.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody here picked up Sardaukar infantry round one. I wasn't quite, I wasn't seeing exactly how much persuasion they had, so I can't really call into question in any of their buys. It kind of depends. I like to squeeze it in, right? If you buy like a medium strong card and can squeeze in a Sardaukar infantry, that's something I like to do.
Yeah, just having that extra 2 strength, especially in those initial battles, could be key, right? It's equivalent to a cube, and it's a surprise attack as well.
Yeah, it's not the kind of card you should be like gunning for. It's more of an opportunity to sometimes take.
I just got a glimpse of David Meredith's card. Oh, we see Scott then going for the High Council seat. That makes sense in terms of probably feeling the pressure of not being able to purchase that 8-cost card and wanting to not fall into that down the line.
You've got it when a card gets trashed. Right. No, I know, but can I see it? Or no? Okay. I didn't realize it was secret.
Just talking about when cards are trashed, trying to see which cards are out there and still available. Yeah, I caught a glimpse of David Meredith's intrigue card, and I saw that it was a plot card. So no military strength and no plans within plans yet. We're over on David Meredith's turn. Leto Atreides in the bottom left, deciding how to move forward. Still having 2 moves because he went last this turn and picked up that Mentat. I think at this point, waiting out the other people, it's a very strong possibility that he could limp in with 1 cube and potentially pick up 4 Solari.
Whoa.
Oh, but he reveals.
What's going on? He revealed with 2 agents left to play?
Wow. Revealed with 2 agents.
Just went to the Mentat and then decided, wow, I have enough to get Thufir Hawat, so maybe take it now.
Wow. Gets Thufir into his deck. Well, I saw that the only thing that he had that didn't have influence on it was his dagger and all the spots up in green that are really useful for him. Well, no, he had 4 Solari. He could have gone and just gotten that extra troop boom. He wouldn't be able to put anything in, but maybe wanting to hold on to that Solari to again get a High Council seat or go for the Swordmaster. I think players are feeling the pressure of the high value cards in the market, but the difficulty here is if you waste your turns like that and reveal, not only are you getting you're getting a good card, but you also might be clearing the market and making it more accessible for the other players.
Yeah, I mean, he got a great card, but at what cost? I
Yeah,
think the cost is too high.
especially going to the Mentat, and maybe might have drawn into a convincing argument, and then said, "Okay, well, I've got to take the opportunity to buy something solid."
Yeah.
Doofy are pretty good, giving you that flexibility to go to any of the alliance tracks, basically anywhere except for green, and you get to draw a card when playing them. So quite a good card. Or you get a intrigue card in the reveal. Like Thufir is a nice card to have in your deck at the beginning.
But part of the cost is not committing to this conflict. Although I suppose Leto kind of used up 2 of his troops last time, so he doesn't have a good chance in the conflict. But still, when you take the Mentat, you have, as you were saying before, like really good visibility into whether or not to go into the conflict. So we kind of gave up on that advantage.
Yeah.
And as it stands now, yellow is just the only person in this conflict, which I find very surprising.
Yeah. And yellow also just picking up Gurney, having enough money to purchase Gurney. So that early reveal now puts Space Travel and Gurney into Baron's deck, and everybody else's decks are not that defined as well. A bit of a lead in terms of deck construction. We see Scott Leader scoop up that power play. I think he had 6. I think I heard him say, "Good move." Because I think Scott was hoping to put Gurney into his deck as well, but he was foiled by Scott. That's not confusing at all. We'll refer to them as Helena and Baron.
I reveal for 4. Thank you for putting something I can afford out. It doesn't suck.
You hear Alex saying, "Thanks for putting something I can afford out there." With 4 managing to pick up the Gunthopter. Yeah, a really lucky play for Alec. And the Worm Riders, again with these high-cost cards coming out.
Yeah, we have Worm Sign.
High and low. We've got the 3 1s, and then we've got 2 of the most expensive cards in the game.
Yeah, at this stage, it's looking like maybe people are just going to be spurning the Sardaukar Infantry, probably also spurning the Scout if they don't like Sardaukar Infantry. Missionary Protectiva is a Bene Gesserit combo card, and we haven't seen any Bene Gesserit, right? So
that's true.
That one may be spurned as well. So this could be a really narrow buying range for these players.
True, yeah. Until somebody's able to get that Chum directorship. And also, no one's only Leto of David Meredith in the bottom left has moved up on the Fremen track, but one more, and then might be hoping to target that Worm Riders.
So the Baron just got that combat with just 2 troops, right?
2 troops with 6 coins, putting Baron at 8. I'm sure we'll see a Swordmaster get from Baron on this next round. And we see the conflict card that's been flipped up. I believe the raid stockpiles. So winner of this next conflict will get a intrigue card and 3 spice, then 2 spice, then 1 spice for the respective placements.
I have to say, I like the Baron's chances at this stage, having just kind of gotten away with something there, stealing 6 Solari from the conflict for a reasonable price. Was he the one who got Gurney as well?
Yep, he was the one who got Gurney as well.
So that's a good start for the Baron.
Definitely. Now, which of the 4 games, we were talking about Raw, we've got Raw, Acquire, 7 Wonders, and Azul. Which of those skill sets do you think is best adapted for Dune Imperium? I feel like they're all kind of equal, if I were to put it.
Raw, you said
Maybe
7
Raw.
Wonders.
Yeah, Acquire and Azul.
Whew. Like you said at the start, kind of games do have skills that that are transferable sometimes.
Yeah.
Dune's just got a lot of card knowledge, right? Like playing it, understanding how the cards, the ratio of cards in your deck, and none of those other ones have that kind of knowledge. So I could go with any one of those.
Yeah. I might give it to Raw because of the bidding aspect, and
Yeah,
knowing when to push into the conflict and when not to,
that's fair.
and having that sense of timing. Maybe.
Yeah. Seven Wonders has, card synergies that you need to be aware of, so there's some similarity there.
Yeah. We see, speaking of Seven Wonders, Scott Kushner playing the Baron, opts not for the Swordmaster, but goes for the High Council.
Chome directorship in the Baron's future, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Will we see another Helena block move of Signet Ring taking out... we, of course, can't see their hands from this vantage point, but
Yeah.
that could be interesting if it happens.
And we see Scott Leader playing Power Play. And so moving up to get that point in the Fremen, and also making Worm Riders potentially Helena's next target.
Yeah, I don't love the early power plays because we talked about this on our last cast. You kind of don't make your deck better, but yeah, I like the idea of going for Worm Riders and trying to get a 6 sword card into your deck. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, at this point for Scott Leader, I think he was hoping to get Gurney, and then Gurney was taken.
Yeah.
And so then opted for the consolation power play.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we can see, well, actually, both Scott and David Meredith sitting with 2 water, potentially getting 5 spice if they go to the Great Flat, because that's been building up.
Yeah, what do you like 5 spice for 2 water or 3 spice for 1 water?
I mean, I'd go for 3 spice 1 water, but it depends on if you've got plans. David opting for the 5 spice for 2 water.
There's your 3, and then you get your 2 bonus over there.
Yeah, I like it. It opens up Conspire as an option, and Conspire is like a really strong board space in the early game.
True.
Particularly for somebody who spent their troops. Conspire is both an economic space and a troop replenishment space, and the Intrigue card can't hurt. Am I missing something, though? I'm not seeing 5 spice. Maybe there's 2 stacked there that I'm not seeing.
Yeah, maybe. Well, because there would have been... Nobody went there in any of the... We're only on round 3.
Right.
And I don't think anybody went there. There was spice there, and nobody went there on the first round, so there should have been 5 spice garnered.
Okay. Pushes in a troop, limps in, hopes for another spice on as a combat reward. Who has the first player marker? Sorry, I lost track of where it is.
It's currently at the Baron.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are on round 3 because we started with Lido in the bottom left.
Wow, the Beast has quite the troops.
Hasn't pushed in any of them. Hasn't participated in either battle yet.
Which I don't like, especially in that last battle. But he's got to push here. Got to push at least 2 troops, I think. First prize on this conflict is quite good.
Yeah. 1 intrigue and 3 spice. That feels pretty good.
All right, and then I will send 2 guys in.
2 guys.
I like it.
This market has been really interesting to watch. The no mid cards that have come out, right? Just 6, 6, 8, 8, 5, and then just that Gunthopter and the Spacing Guild that were garnered. We see the Baron plays Signet Ring, heads over to take that 3 spice there for 1 water.
Good value. And if he played Signet Ring, I presume he's getting an intrigue.
Yeah, he's got the Solari for it.
Pay one for intrigue card. Yep.
David scoping out the Baron's ability.
What's your main ability?
What's that?
What's your main ability?
I have secretly chosen 2 of the factions. Okay, so
I remember that.
They're talking about what the Baron's main ability is, as they called it. I would call it more the passive ability. With the Baron, it's a bit unlike most passive abilities. It's a one-time deal.
We're gonna see if Baron will deploy troops. Just 1 troop. Pushes 1 in.
Does have intrigue cards. He might be sniffing out an opportunity to sneakily take a first place here by just playing one. If you play 1 combat card and can win this conflict, you get back an intrigue card.
Yeah, and you get that bump and spice. Yeah.
And you deny your good friend the beast the first prize.
We're over, I believe, to Scott leader Helena in the bottom right. She went Fremen first with that power play. I see a convincing argument, just a glimpse of it in his hand.
Wonder if he's thinking about Hardy Warriors. If he has another one of his starting political cards.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he does indeed want to get Worm Riders, he does want to get ahead on that track. Although it's always scary racing up a track with Duke Leto behind you.
Yeah, that's true. You can just scoop up those extra influence when he needs to.
5, 6, 7.
Oh, he's buying. Oh, he's just buying Worm Riders.
He's just getting it outright. I think he said he had 7, so just shy of being able to get the Chome Directorship. But also, getting Worm Riders into his deck feels almost better than Chome Directorship at this point, especially because he had that early power play. And getting another card that doesn't have that recurring ability. I mean, I guess you get $3 with Chome Directorship, but he already has High Council.
So that was another early reveal, right? I'm not seeing
another early reveal.
2 agents from him. Wow.
We're seeing a lot of early reveals. It's odd because I see a dagger there in his hand. But he didn't have Solari. He still could have gone and gotten a troop and an extra buying power at the Hall of Oratory.
Which would have gotten him Chome Directorship.
Maybe he was worried that the Worm Riders wouldn't be there.
Fair. That's fair.
But the only person who he'd have to be worried about would be Leto.
Helena, to some extent, if Helena has another play and plays a Signet Ring and dumps Chome Directorship out of the row, then that kind of foils your plans if you'd go for it.
Yeah, but Scott Leader down in the bottom right is Helena. He was the one who just revealed and took the Worm Riders. I like Imperial Spy a lot as a card. It doesn't really help your deck, but with those kind of lower cost cards, sometimes you don't want them to be a permanent fixture in your deck as well. And so just having a 2-buy to punt down a move on the Emperor track later on and getting an intrigue card for it, you're just buying an intrigue card essentially, with a little bit of an extra boost. I think that one is exciting. And I also find I like Scout a lot too. Just being able to have that flexibility of, if you're not like Scout for a late game can be really powerful. If you overcommit and then you realize somebody else has you beat, you can pull those troops back and hopefully not need to to get them all back later on in a round. But I guess a lot of people depend on Highliner for those big swings
Yeah, I
in
agree.
in the late game, and so maybe 2 troops isn't enough to
Yeah,
have that effect.
I think Scout is kind of a versatile card, right? It has 2 agent icons. I think it's probably better in the mid game for retreating than in the late game, but
Yeah.
I like Scout. I feel like David. I feel like I saw diplomacy in his hand, and he's not using it. Instead, using reconnaissance, which I think you said earlier that David is the one who kind of was studying Dune because he probably doesn't play a lot of Dune.
Yeah.
And I think this might be a mistake because he already had a troop in this conflict, so putting a second troop in doesn't seem super high value to me. And if I saw the diplomacy, then he's turning down the chance to use a diplomacy, which I don't like. And
Yeah.
especially when you're on top of like Conspire Spice, and Conspire would get him up to his Swordmaster.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was a diplomacy, that also feels, especially because the Beast still has room to push troops in. We saw earlier that David's intrigue card wasn't combat related as well, and I don't believe he's picked up another one since. And so just tying for that first place, I guess you get the other player to overcommit, but at the same time, in a 4-player game of Dune, if you take one person down at the expense of yourself, it is only the other 2 people who benefit.
Right. You can only really afford to do that when you're taking down the table leader and you are, say, second place at the
For
table.
sure.
Then it's almost your responsibility to do it.
Yeah.
Another 1-cost card appears on the row, by the way.
Wow. Assassination Mission, which we saw as a frequent market player in our ring final of Dune. But yeah, Baron scoops up that Imperial spy, which feels like a great get for Baron, especially since he's already moving up on that Emperor track. Has the spice to also go and get those 2 troops intrigue card and 5 Solari. Yeah, it was a surprising reveal from Helena.
Discard now.
But again, like, it also should be stated, this is the 5th day in a long competition. A lot of these players, I'm sure, they were waiting until 12 o'clock at night to find out what game they were playing, and then they have to play that game to get a seat in the finals at 9 a.m. the next morning. So for a lot of them, it's a choice of how much do you study and how much do you sleep. How much sleep does your brain need to be fresh to make those decisions and to figure out those calculations? And this is a game that also can't take all day as well, because the finals start at 1 o'clock. And so you want to be able to give yourself a break if you happen to make it into the finals, and see which winners from which tables move on, and know that those games aren't going to be played in the final. We see just a standard pickup, a Fremen combo card, the Arrakis Legion. Is that the
Liaison? Yep. I presume part of kind of an overall strategy of coming to this event would be to have contacts, to have friends, basically friends who play board games who are better than you at those board games, so that you can, you have a person to kind of rely on for advice when it gets to be the night before game time in a situation like this.
Yeah, it what's really nice though about WSBG is that you'll see a lot of these people. It's a hugely community driven game. A lot of these people turn to their previous competitors who they know are good in these games and get consult on it. So for example, in the Arc Nova, Nick Henning was a 2-time ring winner in 2022 and was in 3 final tables this year. And he also commented on Brass with me, but he didn't end up making the finals this year. He didn't win a ring this year, but he was helping out Yuka, who won brass. He was teaching him everything he needed to know about Arc Nova because he'd never played Arc Nova. So there's kind of like a crash course of other players who didn't make the finals, but who want to make sure everybody's putting their best foot forward in the event. And that's an awesome part of community that you see
That's
people
great.
staying up late with other people and just people who you'd never met before, but who are just like, yeah, no, I know, I got you. Let me teach you everything I know. Because then you also get to have a little bit of that experience too. You get to root for someone. You get to put your hand on the scale and be like, here are
Sure.
my tips. Go out and win for me. You know, it's a real sort of coach massaging the fighters' shoulders before they go into the
Sure.
ring style, which is
That sounds like a fantastic environment. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear it. And people like Tom Vassell are there.
yeah,
Ice Tower.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a really I always sort of emphasize this. Even at tables like this, it's still a pretty friendly environment, you know? People are this is a more quiet table than I think I've seen. But also Dune isn't the most chatty of a game, I suppose.
Yeah, it requires some concentration for sure. It's chatty when I play it.
Any game's chatty when I play it. If I can talk my way into getting everybody to put all their troops into a conflict and I can save all my troops for the next two, that's
Right.
100% what I'm going to do. But it's also interesting to see the power of the Beast right now. Beast having 4 troops in this conflict and still 4 troops able to be pushed in the next one.
Yeah. And he's done this without yet getting an alliance for his signet ring,
Mm-hmm.
but he's only one step away from securing that Spacing Guild alliance,
Yeah.
And then we go to combat.
and nobody else is close there. So I think that's going to be an easy alliance for the Beast to just hold for the whole game.
Yeah, I think so too. There's no way that Spacing Guild gets taken from the Beast at this point, I think.
Who was it who revealed early for the Spacing Guild card, the space travel card? Was it the Beast?
It was the Baron. The Baron.
Baron. Okay.
Yeah. So Baron does have Spacing Guild.
So I suppose Baron might have a shot if he chose the Spacing Guild for his Master Stroke, because he could suddenly get a couple influence there and have more cards in his deck that can go there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never count him out with the amount of intrigues he tends to have. Like, he could always have an intrigue that gives him influence.
Yeah. But I think that's been Alex's sort of focal point of just going for using his fold space to go to the fold space to get another fold space and just cycle that and kind of send himself up the track.
Yeah. He's done it at the cost of the other tracks, but when you are the Beast and that you can double up on your signet ring, totally understandable to take that approach.
And we see our second point battle being flipped up, and you get a to control the basin to control one of the areas and get a benefit anytime someone goes there.
Yep. This is a great conflict to win early in the game. We're now at the kind of like late early stage, so it's not as important as if it had flopped in round 2, but it's still quite good.
Where do you normally put your flag, your control marker, if you were to win this? On Carthag, Arakeen, or Imperial Basin of the... What do you prefer to get, a Solari or a Spice?
I prefer?
Yeah.
I prefer the Spice, right? So
Yeah.
if you're playing with the Rise of Vix expansion, where you can have dreadnoughts that are allowed to... You have the choice when you win with a dreadnought of where to send the dreadnought, then I would typically send it to the Basin, because especially in the mid game, Spice starts to become more important than Solari.
For sure. Oh, we see Helena playing her signet ring. It's got to be the Chom directorship.
I would think so. I could maybe see an argument for assassination mission if they are somehow set up to trash it next turn without shuffling their
Yeah.
discard pile to their deck. But no, it is in fact the Chome Directorship.
Which also gives people that refresh if something else comes up. We have the Smuggler's Thopter that comes up. Also Spacing Guild.
Great
This
for
would
the
be
Beast.
a lovely get for the Beast.
Yeah, Beast
Already,
loves to see this. Nobody else
Yeah.
kind of wants that, right?
Yeah. That's a huge card for the Beast synergy. Alec getting really, really lucky on these pulls of getting the cards that he wants in his deck.
Hey, yeah. That's right.
So, has anybody gotten their Sword Master yet? I may have, like, kind of as we were chatting, may have missed it, but
Yeah,
looks like
Alec
red.
has
Looks
the
like the
Beast.
Beast.
Yeah,
Wow.
correct.
So the
But
Beast
he's the only one. I think both Baron and Helena kind of had the opportunity or could have made plays for it, but they opted for the High Council with those larger cost cards that were up there, which is what I was thinking as well. And then now we've got a whole row of ones, and they might be thinking, oh, maybe I could use that extra player. But we've seen a lot of early reveals in this game. Like, I am shocked at the amount of early reveals that we have seen. I think we've seen one from the Baron, one from Helena, one from Leto. I'm not sure if we've seen an early reveal from the Beast.
I feel like in the background that the guy with the green shirt is a Dune player. Did he play Dune last year in the ring finals? Do you happen to recall?
Well, he played Dune in the finals and won.
The final finals, right?
That's our 2022 champion,
Yeah.
Hans Lee. Looking in the background, also roaming, setting up, seeing who is going to move on to take his title from him as World Series of Wargaming champion. But yeah, I think Hans is particularly interested in Dune, having this be the game which won him $25,000 and the title of World Series champion.
An incredible game by him last year. I believe he played Duke Leto.
I don't remember, but that's exciting to hear, and I'm going to go with it.
I think he played Duke Leto. He went to the Mentat quite a bit and took advantage of the knowledge of the Mentat.
Yeah.
So we'll see if this Duke can do the same. So far, I think this Duke is struggling a bit, sitting on top of arguably too much spice, not converting it into efficient usage. I would have liked to have seen Duke Leto have either the High Council or the Swordmaster by this point.
Yeah,
has neither.
That's true. Could get the High Council right now though, with only 4. But again, with the market as it is, we see the 6. He was listening. He said, "Okay, fine. I'll spend all my spice, Paul. I heard you. I heard you loud and clear."
Yeah. I was thinking more of an economic transfer into Solari at Conspire, but I'll take it. Highliner is always an exciting play. I like to see it in the mid game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see all 5 of these troops go in, though.
Yeah, don't push all 5 in. 3, maybe 3 might be worth the point. I think with the board state, only the Beast will fight you.
Yeah, he's in trouble with the
4.
Beast too. With the fact that the Beast has Swordmaster makes this a tough decision.
Yeah, ends up committing 4. We hope. It would be pretty heartbreaking if the Beast was able to take that point away from him. But I also don't know if it's the right call. That if you're the Beast, you could just put in 2 and be pretty much guaranteed 2 water.
Right.
You could probably only put in 1 and be guaranteed 2 water at this point.
You went there, moved 5 here, 4 out, took 2 water.
Are they double checking to make sure
That looks correct.
everything is legit?
Yeah. Part of passing the card is making sure that you check it all out. And again, these players have it's been a long event for them for sure. Ooh. Wow. What a great plot card for the Beast to have.
And he took the Spacing Guild, the Smuggler's Thopter.
Yeah. Takes Smuggler's Thopter and puts it right on the top of his deck for a cost of 2 spice. That feels pretty good.
A little expensive, but hey, he knows it's going to draw 2 cards for him. Sure, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think whether the beast goes after Duke Leto here may depend on intrigue cards. Like, is the beast sitting on any? Is Duke Leto sitting on any? Like,
Yeah.
Go here, so each opponent loses 1 garrison troop.
oh wow.
One
So
garrison troop.
Wow.
he just
Oh,
basically turned that decision to push 4 troops from Highliner into a bad decision, because if he had just pushed all 5, he'd now have 5 in the battle, and
yeah.
either way he has 0 in his garrison, which is unfortunate.
Oof. But what a time to play that too. Like a really great hitting everybody, especially with
Everybody,
just
yeah.
that one. And he pushes
He's
3
coming
in.
in.
He's making a
coming
play
in.
for this. Yeah.
Oof, the Duke has to hate to see this.
Yeah, and we know he's drawn a card with that move as well, which means that the Smuggler's Thopter that he just put on the top of his deck is now in his hand.
Right, but where is he going to play it? Because he doesn't have water, so he can't.
Doesn't have
Imperial
water.
Basin is blocked. He can't play to Haga, so if he wants to push more troops, he can't.
Yeah.
Did he put it on top of his deck just to reveal it for 1 spice? That doesn't make any sense, to pay 2 spice to get back 1.
Yeah. I think it must. The only other play, Beast still has 2 people left. You could go to the Fremen, get your water, and then go and to Haga Basin.
Wow, the
and
power
push,
of the Swordmaster.
push the other 2 in.
Yep.
Power of the Swordmaster for sure. Or it could just be a misplay, an excited play to try to push things in.
No, I
The
think you're
Beast
right. I mean,
also can go to Carthag as well.
yeah, he could also just go to like Carthag,
Mm-hmm.
or he could even go to secure contract with the Smuggler's Thopter, draw 2, and then see the lie of the land before he makes his final decision.
Yeah.
Although he might be cut off, though, if other people go to Carthag.
And I can only assume we'll want to see the Beast push to get that alliance token pretty soon with another fold space play, but it may not be a priority this round.
Here comes the Baron. It looks like he's playing space travel, so he's going to start his climb up the Spacing Guild track, I would think. Yeah.
There it is, yeah. Also good to deny that continued increase if he wants to maybe steal it away.
And has the Baron triggered Master Stroke this game?
No.
Wow. It's unusual to see the Baron not have triggered Master Stroke and be sitting with 0 troops in garrison. Now, obviously, he just took a hit from that Gunthopter play.
Yeah, but it was only 1. Yeah, we haven't seen much. But Baron also sitting on 6 spice, so for sure a Highliner play. It will be the trigger.
Wow, I wonder if was this the round that the Baron wanted to go to Highliner, and Duke Leto cut him off? Is that what happened?
Yeah, could have been. That feels very probable.
2 highest cost cards.
That's got to be a bummer for the Baron to run into that situation.
We do see Gunner in the Baron's hand, though,
Couldn't have space to know when
just flashing the cards a little. And
Gurney.
Gurney, yeah, Gurney, and Seek and Diplomacies, though.
Does he have another play?
I think I see one. I see one more. I think the Baron went last this round, so that was the Baron's first person on the board.
So the Baron is probably looking at Carthag as a high tension moment here, because Gurney can't be played anywhere else for the Baron right now. He has not unlocked Siege Tabor. He doesn't have 2 water to go to the research station. So Gurney's power is going to be, really dependent on whether Carthag is open. And it's very easy to believe that somebody else is going to go to Carthag here.
Yeah. And Baron also not sitting on troops in the reserve, so Gurney's other and doesn't have 3 Solari, only has 2 Solari, so cannot really take full advantage of Gurney's reveal ability, wanting to play it into Carthag.
Did Leto move up a track there with the Signet? No, that's not. What did Leto just do there? Secure contract, just a plain old.
Just a plain secure contract, getting 3.
Got to push that, didn't
I
he?
push
Because
somewhat.
this.
So the Duke is hoping that his 4 troops will be enough here, which I don't know. The Beast is probably gonna.
It feels, there's the water play from the Beast, and then we'll for sure see the Smuggler's
Yeah.
Thopter into Haga Basin.
Pushes 2 more troops now, so he's now ahead of the Duke.
I mean, we've got to still see the Smuggler's Thopter be played. That 2-card draw is pretty huge.
Yeah.
But that leaves Carthage open for Gurney, which it would be surprising not to see Carthage right now. It would just be, will the Baron limp in with 1 troop, or hold those troops for later? I think we see a 1 troop push.
I think the problem that the Baron is facing right now is he has no deck. So if he plays Gurney, he has to draw a card, and he will have to shuffle his discard pile, and then Gurney will end up in his discard pile. So he's probably, wow, this is a pretty just unlucky round for him if in fact the Duke did cut him off at Highliner, and he's now facing this kind of like, you lose either way. Not playing Gurney or even playing Gurney is a bit of a hit.
Right.
And playing Gurney is like great, but he's not going to win this conflict unless he gets like an incredible intrigue card.
Yeah. And especially too, because he's also played Spacing Guild this round. So all of his sort of cards that he's been working on creating a better deck for himself are in play this round.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I suppose if he had 3 Solari, I believe that's how much Gurney needs on reveal to generate troops, but it's still not going to be like, it's really just going to convert into 1 troop into the conflict for 1 water, which is okay.
Yeah. I could see an Emperor play over in getting the 5 Solari with 2 troops and an intrigue card. That might be because I think he's got diplomacy in his hand too, so he could pivot and not do a Gurney play and just go to move up the Emperor track at that point, use his spice, get a little bit of more presence that he could push in later, doesn't have to rely on Highliner, especially because everybody committed so hard in this conflict as well. That's just heartbreaking for Leto. The Beast just throwing his weight around, wanting that point.
Yeah. Leto at least did set himself up for a Swordmaster next round by going to secure contract. Wow, the Baron not playing a diplomacy card or Gurney. Instead,
going for the Mentat.
So he's just shuffling his deck with this play regardless then. So now I think he is setting up for Gurney?
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you handle shuffles at the World Series of Board Games? Do you, do you pass to an opponent to cut every time? Is that what happens?
That seems to be what they're doing. And makes sense in terms of you just do the initial shuffle and then a cut happens.
I did not see the Mentat play coming, but I don't dislike it. Gives him a little bit more information before committing.
I think after doing these commentaries with you, Paul, I got to rename my Mentat Denon. You're getting the Denon. You're doing the Denon play.
I'm never going to call a Mentat play bad, even though probably objectively sometimes there are bad Mentat plays.
Yeah.
I've never seen one myself.
Yeah, if Baron ends up in Carthage, that might be a really nice play.
So is Helena? Helena got Showm directorship here, right?
Yeah. You see that boost on all of the tracks.
Yeah, nice.
One step closer to that alliance token too for the Worm Riders.
Important.
We see a reveal, 2 daggers, just 3 buying power. wanting to hold on to those daggers. So currently tied with the Beast, but we have to assume that the Beast has this conflict for sure.
Do we know that Duke Leto has no intrigue cards?
I think I caught a glimpse of his intrigue card, and it was a plot card that has yet to have been played. And I don't believe he's gone anywhere that has gotten him more intrigue cards. I think we can just see if we look at his player cam by his right elbow. He's holding his intrigue cards there, and it just kind of looks like one.
Okay.
But we see Leto pick up the Spice Hunters, which again opens the door. Bene Gesserit's sister is now in the market. We haven't seen much Bene Gesserit, but with the sister and Missionaria Predictiva, maybe there's a combo play there.
I thought it was 11.
Definitely, although that's the kind of combo that you really want a Swordmaster, and
Yeah.
only one player at this table has a Swordmaster.
I put it out there for you. I didn't realize it. I appreciate it.
It'd be nice to have a blue card right now, but
Oh, we hear the Beast saying he doesn't have any blue cards in his hand, so he can't take Carthag away from Gurney.
Yeah. Wow, is he revealing no dagger? No, he has
He's
a
revealing.
dagger. So he has the dagger should do it.
The dagger should do it, but revealing not getting to use that third. Why?
Well, why not play the Haga Basin with the Smuggler's Thopter?
Yeah, I don't see why he didn't play that.
So that's 4, and I will take the
I thought that was the whole point of taking the water there, was so that he could get himself in. That seems like a misplay.
Yeah, because it's not like he would have given up his dagger there.
Yeah, and he would have drawn 2 cards, would have had a little bit more buying power. I guess he only had 4, and so was thinking, well, am I really going to get to 9 to make a difference in the buying? But as we see, the Fata-King Death Commando pops out, which, well, I guess it's not that useful to the Beast.
Sometimes it's hard as a caster of these games to to remember what everybody has in their deck. Like maybe he was afraid of drawing a card that he really wants to play next round. Like that would make sense to not want to draw in that context.
Yeah. I always think the deck cycle in this game is better than anything. You get to your cards again sooner, you know?
It's incredibly important, yes. I agree with you.
You're done. That's
Deck cycling, Swordmaster are 2 of the most important things, and the Beast I think is set up really well to take this game because of both of those things. But Helena has been playing a really shrewd game.
Yeah. We do see, though, Baron just able to get, with that high council seat, getting 9 total influence, and purchasing a Spice Must Flow.
Yeah. It's impressive, but
goes to you first. Would you like?
But he's just not well set up. Like, where's the master stroke? The Baron usually is doing better on influence tracks than
that's a no for
than
you.
what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
I will not.
I mean, obviously, he has the potential energies in his back pocket, but has no troops, or did he actually get some troops?
He did. He made his play. He gave up 4 Spice. I thought he was holding them for Highliner, but he ended up going on the Emperor track and getting that intrigue card, the 5 Solari.
Great. I take it back then. Great play by the Baron.
Baron scooping up 2 points in that turn.
Yeah.
With the Spice Must Flow.
So Helena ahead on the score track. Why is
Thanks
that?
to that Chome directorship play.
2 points from Chome directorship. Where was the other point from Helena?
Helena also won the first conflict.
Oh, right.
And got that point there.
Which, looking back, seems like a really
good value.
Good value compared to some of these other conflicts.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the time, I was really worried that the 3 troops was just going to get bonked by a Hardy Warriors play.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of get away with that, I think, has been a big boost for Helena's game here.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So first player marker is going to go to the Beast now?
No, it just got passed on round 5, so it's back to Leto.
Back to
who
Leto,
started
okay.
us off.
All right, Leto's got to get the Swordmaster this round.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that was the slow play to secure contract, just wanting that Swordmaster flexibility. But Leto now sitting on 5 water.
Wow. Well, he's not going to have water problems for a while.
That is the most water I think I've seen in a game in a very long time. I'm jealous. I'm jealous at the amount of the great flat that Leto can capitalize off of.
Helena appears to have a bunch of persuasion in her hand, but no good symbols that I'm seeing. I'm just seeing a lot of starter cards.
Thufir right away decides to go up to that Emperor track.
Interesting, okay.
Interesting. Maybe wanting to have that flexibility to get the Mentat and the Swordmaster, looking around the table, seeing nobody's going to block Swordmaster. So,
yeah,
might as well lock in that extra money so that you can punt with Mentat down the line.
I like it.
I like that play. It's a surprising play, but it's also great in terms of choosing when you have to take your shots, right? If you have the safety, he has the safety that Swordmaster's not going anywhere. So might as well do something that might be more contested, and everybody's running low on Solari.
Yeah. I hope that he has Landsrat icons in his hand. It would be a disaster if he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, Thufir, the only place Thufir can't go is into the green spaces up top. It's hard for me to tell who's winning right now. You know, I mean, like, it's easy to tell. You look at the scoreboard and it's Scott leader.
It's Helena.
It's Helena. But that's true. Okay, I take it back.
I'm just teasing you. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I feel like the Beast, I'd probably put the Beast at the top in terms of win percentage probability, but it's nowhere near, the top, it's nowhere near 100%. It's probably not even reached 50% in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. If I had to give it right now, I would give a little edge to the Beast, but that Chome directorship boost, like that gives you access to a lot of those points that may otherwise be inaccessible or might take a lot of work to get to on the Alliance tracks. And Helena's been making some really good plays, but also the deck of Baron feels good too. So it could go any way here.
Yeah, I feel like Leto's got to be an underdog, right? And you can't blame David Meredith for that, not having played a ton of Dune before this. But it's not like he's out of it. He's going to be the second player with a Swordmaster. Like you said, he's sitting on a near infinite supply of water to use.
Yeah.
So he's got some positives. Unfortunately,
he's got some weight to throw around. Yeah.
He's in last place. He's going to need some spice, right? For his signet ring. He's got one of the best signet rings in the game, but you need spice to power it.
That's true. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that David Meredith, this is probably his first game of Dune.
Wow. Okay.
or like he had his first game of Dune the night before. Rather,
Sure.
I feel like I might have had a conversation with him saying, "Oh, I don't know this at all." But I wouldn't put him out. I mean, David Meredith is a competitor, having won a full Ticket to Ride ring in 2022 and the Raw ring in 23.
God,
is one of only two people in the world to have done a back-to-back performance, and the only person to have done it in 2 different games.
By the way, I love not only Raw, but I also love Ticket to Ride. Like those two games
Yeah.
are among, for me, the most excellent board games ever designed.
Yeah.
I've played a ton of both of them. I have the Raw Deluxe Edition with
Yeah.
the metal
The
point
more I play Raw,
things.
the more I wish I had the deluxe edition instead of just the base copy. In terms of, I'm like, because I'm drawing it, I play it so much and drawing them out of the tile. But I love both of those new editions. I'm so thrilled that it's kind of back in circulation. It's such a good game.
And to continue to plug other companies' games, just kicked off my Ticket to Ride Legacy excursion this weekend. Played
Nice.
3 games with 4 people. Really fun, really
Cool.
great take on a legacy game with Ticket to Ride.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm excited. I know I will eventually. But yeah, it's just such a solid system, Ticket to Ride.
Is the Baron? Where did the Baron play to? I missed.
Baron just ended up in Arakeen. Beast went to Carthage, so Baron went to Arakeen and is now pushing just that one troop in.
It's interesting when you're the Baron at this stage of the game with Master Stroke. Like, do you just? I guess you have 2 rounds left of Conflict 2s, this round and next round. Like, do you wait? Do you actually wait until Conflict 3s to trigger your Master Stroke?
This could be a really interesting.
This
really could be an interesting conflict to trigger Master Stroke, though, because if you're able to win it, you get the benefit of maybe going up 2 spaces on that track. You reveal your Master Stroke, go up the track, and then win and go up the same track. Suddenly, that Space and Guild alliance could be put into contention.
But if this is the round that you want to trigger Master Stroke, then I don't think you should put 1 troop in on that turn.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
Then you're forcing yourself to go up to 5 troops, and look at the garrisons. Nobody else has anything in their garrisons,
it's true.
right?
Yeah,
Helena
that's a great point. Maybe you don't want to do Master Stroke this turn. You know that the secret attack is going to come next round or something, because here putting in 4 for this conflict feels ludicrous at this point. Looking at the garrisons, you're right.
I don't think putting in 4 is ludicrous. I think forcing yourself to put in 5 is, then you're starting to get into ludicrous speed territory, as what's his name from Spaceballs might say.
Scott Leader scooping up all that spice that maybe Leto might have been hoping for.
Yeah, you have to think Leto was hoping for that, but turned it down. Right, could have gotten it with Thufir.
Yeah, but decided to go up that Emperor track instead. We've got to see a Mentat play from Leto right now. That's the only reason why to get that additional Solari, or trying to get High Council too.
It depends. Like if you have only 1 Landsrad, I can't see in his hand. But if he only has 1 Landsrad icon in his hand, it would be risky to take the Mentat. I think you have to go Swordmaster.
Yeah, he's forced to play the Signet Ring too.
Oh, with no spice. Oh.
With no spice.
It's a little painful, but at least he's got the Swordmaster.
Oh, I think it feels like Leto forgot about his ability, because I think he just pushed in 8 Solari there. And I think he may not have realized that he could have gotten it for 7 Solari because of his ability. And so that again makes sense in terms of the money play, just kind of forgot to track that.
Oh, you're right.
And was thinking, oh, you know what? I need extra money. I gotta get my Swordmaster. That's a tough break. Looking back, I'm sure David Meredith will be kicking himself a little.
I will use my water. Go here. Get 2 more spice, please.
So the Beast going up to at least 5 spice.
pushing into that conflict. Yeah, push that in. If you can get 2 bumps on a track for 2 troops, why not?
Absolutely.
I don't see how Baron doesn't take this, though. Baron's the only one with troops in reserve.
Yeah, I mean, but if you take it and don't trigger your Master Stroke, you're going to make it that much harder to trigger Master Stroke in the future. So I think
True.
he is maybe at that unfortunate situation where, well, how many does he have? Water even? No, he has no
Yeah, it
water.
has no water.
So he can't actually trigger Master Stroke unless he's got a trick up his sleeve with like an intrigue card.
Mm-hmm.
Who was my counter guy? The guy you wanted?
Oh.
I felt bad.
I mean,
Scott talking about to the other Scott. He's saying, "What card did you trash?" And he said, "Oh yeah, don't worry. I just trashed Gurney. I trashed Gurney. You don't have to worry about it. He's not going to come back. I trashed him because I felt bad because I knew you wanted it."
Trash pile, but as the card goes to the trash.
I think we see some trash talk around the table.
Well, if you go here,
Literally trash talk?
wasn't it going to the?
and if I go here and
No,
trash a
when I
card,
asked earlier, I was asking if I could see the trash pile, like the cards that have already been trashed. He said, no, you cannot see that.
I see the difference.
Right. No. He was asking what the difference was between this and the other one.
I understand.
and here's another scenario. If someone were to go here,
Right. Do they have to
trash a
reveal
card,
the card?
they don't ever have to reveal the card they're trashing, I don't think, to take that action.
Huh. They're saying that you don't have to reveal trashed cards, which seems a little weird to me, but if that's the rules of the tournament, I would abide by it.
I think the rules is you can't search through the trash pile, but you can see it on the way as it's
Okay.
being trashed. You're like, I'm trashing this card, and then you throw it in a pile, and then it's just you got to remember it from there. But
So people see what you get.
Sure.
So honestly, it's just me not knowing one way or the other. But I would. be
So
curious
one of them
to-
wants to know what somebody else trashed, and they
kind
just
of trust you on-
aren't
Yeah.
able to.
but, you know, also-
No, interesting.
that
Okay.
seems like it doesn't really impact anything to me. Like, what are you trashing? I'm going to assume
Right.
you're trashing your worst card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you're
either
not
a
gonna-
dagger or a Dune,
Yeah.
the desert planet. Like, what else is there?
You're
to trash.
not going to trash something good,
Right.
otherwise you wouldn't trash it. So like, it seems kind of like a non-issue from my standpoint. But
Sure.
it's I feel like it's funny in these sort of situations where you're trying to be so diligent about tracking everything, right? You're trying to track everything. You're like, oh, this might have some implication, and sometimes that can work against you because you're not devoting your memory and your attention to the things that actually matter in the game. You're like, okay, so that's a dagger that's gone. Okay, so I can guarantee that player won't have 2 daggers in their reveal.
Oh, no.
I guess that's relevant to the conversation, but also you could just pick up the starter car infantry and have 2 daggers anyway, you know?
Yeah.
Like there are other ways to get to worry about playing around, and you should always prepare for the worst case scenario. Like I should always prepare that Helena now has the Worm Riders in their reveal. If I want to win that thing, I should know, okay, I have to hope either one way or the other that Worm Riders are or aren't going to get played. But knowing if a dagger's in or out, that's not something I personally would ever worry about.
It's been a while.
I totally agree with you. I think you should spend your brain bandwidth on the right things,
Yeah.
on the big things, and not
Yeah.
sweat the small things, especially if you're not an expert in the game.
Yeah.
If you're like
100%.
a medium level, like it's almost like a basketball coach seeing a player doing some fancy moves. Like you really should focus
Yeah.
on the fundamentals when you're at novice to medium level at a game, and
Yeah.
only when you've played dozens, hundreds of times should
Yeah,
you
yeah.
even start concerning yourselves with these small nuances.
I look at the card, you do not have to fill in. Okay. So that was the start of my turn.
Oh, so we see the judge coming back as well. I think they were getting an official ruling on that. I didn't quite hear what the judge said, but I think he said you don't have to show anyone that card that you trash.
Hmm.
Sure.
Does the WSB? I'm getting the acronym wrong. Does the tournament have like rules that are consistent across all games? Like, for example, if multiple games have trashing, do they try to choose a rule that applies to both of those games?
I believe so, but I think the rule book is first and foremost on
Okay.
on a game, right? Like
Okay.
if it's in the rule book, or if it's on like a BGG forum, or if it's been asked and answered, I think those things sort of take precedent, and then
Okay.
then it would be case by case basis. I know our tournament director has a list of all the different sort of closet cases that could come up in any of the games, and how to proceed in those, but.
That's a tall order. I mean, there's a lot of, especially with Dune Imperium, there's just,
For sure.
a lot of fancy cards that do weird effects. And then when you combine two that don't usually combine, what happens? It's hard for even me as the designer to remember all the proper interactions.
Yeah, but that's also why there are multiple judges too. At any point during if you're not happy with the ruling of the judges at the table, you could say, "Hey, can we get a second opinion?" And they'd pull. Our tournament director would come over, or somebody else would be pulled over to be like, "Oh no, it's this thing," and until there's an adequate resolution that all players can feel good about at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're still on the Baron's move. Scott Kushner up there deciding, maybe still deciding what card to trash. Having gotten rid of Gurney, as a peace offer to Scott Leader.
Wow.
Which we can for sure trust.
You can always trust what the Baron says.
Yeah. The Baron's not one to lie and reveal their true intentions later on in the game.
Right.
No.
Can't lie to a Benny Gesserit. They're truth sayers.
Yeah, I love seeing how the card market comes out, because it's such a completely different game from the last game that we commentated on. That one was filled with Benny Gesserit, and in this one, the only Benny Gesserit should still be in the Beast's deck. I think that's the only one that was scooped up with that Benny Gesserit sister.
Yeah, it feels a little different to me. On the development side, there are certain one-cost cards that we do value and utilize quite well, but it seems like the community doesn't buy certain cards, and that will make certain games be it'll almost feel thematic, like things are tough to come by when you're on Arrakis, and there are certain cards that you don't want to buy.
Yeah. I didn't even notice Helena getting 6 spice, but we see a Highliner play now.
Yeah.
Helena instituting her master stroke.
And Helena also having a good game without using a Swordmaster as well.
Yeah.
And not really in sight of getting one.
Yeah, really probably not going to devote their energy to that.
There's 2 water in a garrison.
That's just being passed to Helena from the Highliner.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, from the bank. Helena pushes all 6 in, though. I have to assume that's too much.
Wow. I could imagine it being a great play if they're sitting on like a staged incident intrigue card. Do they have any intrigue cards in their hand right now? That is the question.
Yeah. I think they do. That would be very exciting, right? Overcommitting and then pulling back and also winning the conflict. Ooh, that would do very well for Helena's chances to win. Helena's sitting at 5 points now because of that Chome directorship. And with that early conflict win, I feel like Helena's been playing a really good game, like solid. Yeah. I haven't seen that many suspect moves from Helena, other than potentially that first denying of Kwisatz.
Yeah, and did Helena early reveal in the first round, or that was the Baron that did that?
Yeah, but I think Helena early revealed in another instance. I think the only one who hasn't early revealed might be the Beast. but that also might have happened. No, the Beast did early reveal just last time because couldn't play the third Swordmaster anywhere.
Sure, yeah.
Right, we had that early reveal where we were expecting the Smuggler's Thopter play, but didn't happen.
Yeah, Helena's probably jumped into the lead in terms of win percentage here, you know, sitting on a Worm Riders that nobody has really pushed up the, you know, it's been kind of unfortunate that the Duke hasn't been able to track Helena on that track with no spice.
Yeah, really unfortunate with the Duke. I feel that's the lack of using that really powerful Signet Ring ability, which hasn't been used, I think, all game, is maybe David's wishing he picked a different character.
And the Beast is somewhat stalled out. Hasn't even gotten the alliance with the Spacing Guild that we called out earlier. Like they were at 3 influence and everybody else was at 0, and now it's 3 to 2 to 1 to 1.
Yeah.
And the Beast has 0 influence with 2 other factions and only 1 with the Fremen. I mean, I still think the Beast has a good chance here because of getting that Swordmaster, having control of the Imperial Basin. But it could be about deck quality that's going to, you know, help propel, you know, the winner. Whoever wins this game, it might be about deck quality more than board play.
We see Leto making a play on that Fremen track, though. Scott will definitely be moving up Fremen if he wins this conflict.
He figures might as well use this water supply that I'm sitting on.
Yeah, might as well use it for something. I think a good choice not to push those troops in at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a great move though, because like you said, Helena's probably going to choose that track. So unless Leto catches up and surpasses and takes the alliance, then that influence isn't going to mean anything.
Yeah. And doesn't have another person, so can't play the double Fremen action this round. They're tapped out, even though they do have Swordmaster.
Yeah. I think I would have liked to have seen that play go to either Fold Space or Secrets instead.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Secrets play this whole game. The players haven't been shy or short on intrigue cards, but they've been getting them from other sources. It's very surprising, though, because of how powerful those intrigue cards can be. I see Secrets get played a lot.
Yeah, and Secrets would be a play that would also put some pressure on Helena in a faction where Helena isn't just clearly going to take the alliance. Like Helena's sitting there with a clear lead on 2, but not clearly going for the alliance.
Yeah, and I think, well, the Beast gets to go first next round. So I don't know if we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming that Scott Leader will end up taking this conflict with the 6 troops there. But I don't know if the right call is to put the pressure on Spacing Guild and to see if you can draw into that sneaky alliance token, get the Fremen alliance token, and then you're clear to take Bene Gesserit as well. Like that would be an enormous play to get 3 alliance tokens. You'd have to assume that would be the win.
Agreed. I think Helena might be revealing right now for 8 persuasion. It's a little hard for me to see, but it looks like 2 1s and 2 2s plus
the High Council.
Plus the High Council is 8. So missed spice must flow by 1 perhaps here.
Dang.
And do they even buy anything?
That's the question. I mean, they do have passed. Yeah, the only thing that would be worth buying would be the Feydeking Death Commando, right? Because they do have the Worm Riders, so they have a potential Fremen bond.
Yep. I think it could be that Scott Leader, of course, sees that his path to victory is just spice must flow at this point.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to buy any card that has less than 2 Persuasion. I mean, could have bought an Arrakis Liaison, but maybe feels like my deck is good enough.
Yeah.
A little weird though when you have Worm Riders in your deck to be gunning for Spice Must Flow. I think I would tend to agree with you that I would prefer to see the Death Commando added to my deck.
Yeah, to have that combo. I mean, if you get both of those in a round, that's 7 force, right? Assuming that no, even more because for sure Scott's going to get the alliance token right now. That's 9 force.
It's 9 with just so you only need to find a way to get like 1 or 2 troops in, and you are a threat to win, which is great when you're in that position.
We see another card pop up for Alec again, a Duncan Idaho, a great card, worth 4. I think the exact amount that the Beast wanted to spend, and it goes right into the Beast deck. This market just being very kind to Alec.
So we go to combat. You're first. He's not in. Okay, I'm next. I will choose not to conflict.
Scott Leader doesn't have any intrigue.
No intrigues. Okay, so no sneaky staged incident up Helena's sleeve. So yeah, a little surprising that I pushed 7 troops in, or is it 6?
Well, 6, I believe. But yeah, I could have won with 4. But maybe was worried about other people's intrigue cards.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to scare people off and force them to fight in a future round against other people.
And this is tough, though, for Scott Leader. He pushes up into the Emperor track and doesn't put the pressure on the Spacing Guild.
I think that's reasonable. I think basically if he's given up on Swordmaster, he doesn't ever want to send an agent to the Emperor. So he's just going to get the point with this kind of free bump. And now my guess is if he has a focus on the Spice Must Flow, he's going to basically focus on selective breeding for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Another point here.
Another point in the conflict. We just had a quick jump cut as the players took a break.
So, wow, Helena just like dominating the score track now.
7-4 to 3-2. It's a pretty huge lead, but it also doesn't assure victory.
No.
Because how can Helena get more points right now? She's gotten all the points she can basically out of the tracks. Maybe with the alliance token of Bene Gesserit, it's like you said, you either have to go for Spice Must Flow points or try to pick up a couple conflicts. Maybe get a bunch of spice so that you can make a highliner play later on.
Yeah, I think it's probably 2 Spice Must Flows and a Bene Gesserit alliance is the most likely path to victory for Helena.
Yeah.
But I would be scared with Duke Leto right behind me on a where I have an alliance.
Yeah.
I will play this.
Duke Leto picking up some of that spice. Has a spice finally. Maybe can capitalize for the first time on that signet ring.
Yeah, and has a Swordmaster too, which, theoretically that makes it really hard to hold on to an alliance when somebody else has a Swordmaster because they have more actions to spend to put towards a faction. And if it's Duke Leto, they have like that not free, but the 1 spice bonus push.
Yeah, it feels like that 7 points is tenuous at best. And
it's really interesting.
I don't know if Scott's built enough in his deck, enough influence in his deck to go for Spice Must Flow. As far as I've been sort of tracking, if he didn't get any Arrakis Liaisons, I think he might have gotten 1 at the very beginning of the game, but then he only has Worm Riders and the Chome Directorship, both which don't provide that influence.
You're right. Wow. Yeah,
so he needs to go for that sort of conflict win, which is why the Death Commando play is a bit surprising to me that he didn't get that.
Yeah. Who was it who bought the Bene Gesserit sister?
I believe the Beast did.
Okay.
The
Good
Beast
for
has
the
a
Beast.
lot of cards. I think some of the most cards in the game. Gunthopter, Smuggler's Thopter, Duncan Idaho, and Bene Gesserit's sister, making up the combination of his deck.
Because if you're in the Beast position here, I think you have to feel like, whoa, this is too scary to see an opponent here. I think you want to both scare them off at Space and Guild and start chasing them on Bene Gesserit. And if I was at the table, I'd be table talking Duke Leto into chasing on the Fremen. To be honest, I mean
100%.
it's part of the game, and like it's not necessarily like a mean play or an underhanded play. Like it's part of the theme of Dune.
Yeah, it's pointing out. Listen, someone's at 7 points. Let's all gang up on the 7-point person. Like, or you can just let that person walk to the finish line. And I think that's what's scary about Dune Imperium is getting too far ahead too quickly. You become that target, and not recognizing that somebody else could easily get those quick bumps of the points in the alliance tracks and really make up that score gap quickly.
Right.
We saw a similar thing in the ring final too. I believe it was a similar spread. Somebody shot ahead to 7, and the other ones were waiting a little bit behind, and then the gap was closed. So I don't think this is, I don't think we should be pushing Scott Leader into the finals just yet.
No, you're right. Interesting opening move here by the Beast, by the way. Spent his 2 water to go to research station. It might be because, like, wow, I just have a bad hand and I need some good cards. But he also might have been, like, looking around the table, seeing that, hey, Helena is way ahead there. Only way maybe she gets a Spice Must Flow is by going to the research station, sitting on 3 water. Also happens to block Duke Leto, who's sitting on 4 water. But you'd think that the Beast is kind of has some awareness of the table. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say so as well. That is true, right? Helena's probably pretty upset that space is blocked.
I wonder if Helena cares more about playing the Worm Riders for the 2 spice at this stage to power up selective breeding, for example.
Right. That would make sense, because it doesn't seem like conflict is the route that they're going.
Is this did the Baron just play to Hardy Warriors and is not okay? Here's the Master Stroke.
Here's the Master Stroke.
It's happening now.
Let's see. We've got the Fremen getting a point. We see the points shooting up, and the Emperor extending the lead. Yeah, that's
I like it.
Yeah, nice placement, and nice choices on the track too for how the game has shaped out.
Yeah, it does maybe explain some of the early game plays and staying away from the Fremen. Seeing other players kind of jet up that track and then not wanting to like find yourself at 3 or 4 without an alliance.
Yeah.
And I really like choosing Emperor with the Baron and going for the alliance and the 2 extra troops there too.
Yeah, I think so as well. It just feels natural, It
does.
The Baron wants to be Emperor.
It certainly changed with the Rise of Ix expansion. With the we basically added a shipping track, and the Spacing Guild became much more important. So a lot of people ended up choosing the Spacing Guild and triggering Master Stroke early. But I really love this kind of classic base Dune Imperium gameplay from the Baron, where you slow roll your Master Stroke.
Yeah.
You don't reveal your hand quickly. I actually enjoy it more than the Rise of Ix kind of quick reveal.
Yeah, I like a slow reveal for the Baron. I know people just want to get it out of the way and move up those tracks, but if there is that threat, right, and people don't know where you're going, You can use it to maybe steal an alliance for somebody. You can maybe push someone into making a mistake of overcommitting to try to get that alliance because they're worried about you fighting them on it, and then you don't even have that.
Yep.
You know, like there's a lot of power there with keeping it a secret and keeping it later in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of related to last game we cast. You mentioned that just having an intrigue card in your hand has power.
Right.
Even if it's not a combat card, the threat of it being a combat card forces other players to play differently and sometimes waste troops.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing here. Like sometimes people will waste their political influence just because they're afraid of you.
Yeah. But it is too, I think, a nice play by the Baron. Also, this conflict is worth a point. The Baron's able to scoop this up. Again, you see how quickly the gap closes.
And did you see Helena's play? Used the Worm Riders to get to spice.
To get that spice.
And I forgot. Okay, so I was being dumb earlier. The beast could not block Helena on the research station because Helena can't be blocked on the research station.
Oh, right.
There's only one way Helena could be blocked on the research station, and that's with the voice card. But an agent will not block her because of her infiltration ability.
Right. So again, yeah, we see that spice must flow, hoping for that spice must flow, right? Spending that water, getting that additional spice to keep with the drawing of selective breeding. I think we're going to see exactly that. That's the gameplay for Helena right now, which is interesting to me because I probably would have, especially with the garrisons being so few, I might have invested a little bit more into combat, maybe trying to scoop up a combat. You know, if right now Baron's sitting at 8 strength, if you'd put 1 cube in and then had your Worm Riders, you're also sitting at 8 strength. So it's very winnable at this stage of the game, especially when the garrisons have been a little bit small and thinner compared to some other games.
Yeah, indeed. And this is maybe the last window for that kind of sneaky approach. You'd think that starting with the conflict 3s, the strength numbers are going to be in the teens, if not higher, into the 20 plus range as people start to fight tooth and nail for those 2-point conflicts.
Yeah. We see David just push 2 in, hoping maybe to get to first and take it from the Baron. I don't know though, because I haven't seen that many intrigue cards being drawn by David.
Yeah.
It feels tough. It feels like a tough cost evaluation. I think he's going to walk away with 1 spice and a water.
3 Solari, please.
Helena has to love seeing no Signet Ring play by Duke, although it's possible that the Duke has the Signet Ring in the discard pile and it was known that it was not going to be played.
Yeah.
Because that's what would make me lose some sleep here as Helena in the game fiction. Knowing that Duke Leto is just right behind you on Fremen.
Yeah, we'll see if Helena can get that spice must flow. I think getting a spice must flow right now with that 3-card draw is going to be so pivotal. It'll depend what she's drawn into.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, the Trome directorship doesn't help, but still drawing 3 cards, then 2 cards, even if you didn't buy cards with a high council seat, you should be able to get there.
Yeah.
Though it would be nice at this stage of the game to trash a card like Trome directorship. Like, if you don't care about a Swordmaster, why do you care about having Trome directorship reveals? All it's doing is giving you 3 Solari.
That's true, which, unless you're going to exchange, I don't even know, yeah.
I mean, daggers are also a good target, obviously, but I don't know what Helena's already trashed. I think I see 2 daggers in Helena's hand. No, only 1, I think.
Yeah, I see a Signet Ring in there, in that brief flash that we got. But Baron not far behind.
No play to selective breeding. Looks like no option to go to selective breeding for Helena. but drawing a card nonetheless.
Yeah. Hoping that they have enough to.
I didn't catch the draw.
I didn't catch it either. We will see it when the reveal happens, when the players see it.
Oh,
Just a mitt full of cards, though.
Might have been a convincing argument. That was the top card in his hand. I don't know how he added the card to his hand. Did he add to the top or the bottom?
I think he added to the bottom.
Okay.
We hear some laughter happening at the raw table behind them. And we see right as that Scott leaders starting to chant
Raw,
rah, 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 which is one of the best parts of that game.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Seeing Arrakis Liaison being played.
That's always a rough thing to have to play your liaison, but, you know, sometimes it happens. Especially in this situation.
I think David prioritizing keeping those daggers instead of the liaison. Maybe looking at the market doesn't feel like they need the influence, and the daggers might make some difference in the conflict.
Yeah. Carthag is still open.
Mm-hmm.
Siege Taver still open.
There, I get 2 guys now because I have a Fashion Alliance.
But the beast is...
2 spice.
The beast is hungry for battle.
Do you think he goes in here? I don't know that he does.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on if he has any intrigue cards. But he set himself up for a nice Highliner play next round. And going into Conflict 3, that's a nice 2-point bump for the beast. He does push in.
Yeah, I guess he sees an opportunity that, you know, the Baron is in second place. So if he can hurt Helena or the Baron, maybe he sees that it's valuable to do so.
Yeah, and also just picking up a point is...
oh, yeah. And now the Baron
horrible.
goes into a tie for the lead with Helena. Did
Yeah,
he just
but
buy another Spice Must Flow?
Another Spice Must Flow.
Oh.
Wow. That's 2 Spice Must Flow.
Huge round here for the Baron if he can get the combat point as well.
Yeah, that would put him within striking distance. Then just needs to race. Probably won't get the next Highliner. We'll have to concede that to the Beast, but then probably hopes to get another quick 2 points before Helena can pick up those points with Spice Must Flow.
Helena slow rolling the reveal here. That's got to be a Spice Must Flow. It looks like so much persuasion.
He's either on the verge of victory or orgasm. I can't tell.
They're talking about other tables. Raw might be finishing up soon. They're checking it out, seeing if there is a winner. They can feel the tension of the other tables as well.
Has the card been passed, or is it still on the Baron? Is the Baron deciding on something?
I think the card wasn't passed, so I think that he was just waiting out of courtesy.
No, that's the one I played earlier. Oh, okay.
Oh, Scott realizing he didn't reserve a card as Helena when he played his signet ring, but not a huge deal since he probably wouldn't have been buying it anyway.
Right.
It's not too late to do it, but
Wait, is it? That's your current action right now, right?
no, that was a while back. That was my previous action.
Oh, is the judge having to decide whether...
I think the players are just asking around the table.
I won't be the deciding vote.
The only thing with that
Is
there's
something else that would have turned up.
Right. If it was just a matter of it wouldn't have affected, because each of us would have had a chance at possibly buying whatever that was, whether we had chosen that or not.
Right.
So I think that material changed the game. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I'm glad to reserve something from up there and flip over a new card. I don't think it changes your play.
Probably doesn't change my play. That's my.
Probably doesn't change the other player's plays
Yeah,
either. So
I
I would,
agree.
if I were sitting at the table, I would ask him to reserve a card here if it was my choice, because you're only going to be able to benefit with something good flipping for you.
Yeah,
Looking at his huge grip of cards, you kind of
Yeah.
know he's going for a Spice Must Flow.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm good either way, to be honest. I just didn't know if it's going to affect someone else and I should do it.
Did you need one of these to be cheaper? But I hear you. But you know what I mean? I just back to the.
Nobody
Yeah.
seems to be kind of aggressively stating an opinion. Everybody's being polite,
Yeah.
and I think they're kind of in a state of like, well, what to do?
Yeah.
Seven, eight.
Oh,
Revealed. Is that
revealed
eight?
8.
Ah, so why
He
is that?
revealed 8.
It does look like Chum directorship. Did
Yeah,
he grab
2
a
daggers.
water?
Just make
Is
sure
like Duncan in
that
there?
had been the difference maker. That's
No, he doesn't have Duncan.
Yeah. No.
I could have sworn he grabbed a water.
My understanding is
And,
it's only Spice.
It's only
Yeah, maybe it was just from a previous thing that we didn't
Yeah.
see underneath the
Yeah,
camera.
maybe he was fiddling with his pieces.
Mhm. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Wow.
To hit that 8. You can see the last 3 cards that he drew, I feel, were Chome Directorship and the 2 daggers. He needed
And,
to hit anything else in his deck, and he would have been able to get that Spice Must Flow.
And it turns out I would have been wrong as a player, thinking he's surely going to buy a Spice Must Flow. Please reserve a card. But now,
Yeah.
Scott probably would have liked to have reserved a card just to see if somebody like Lady Jessica, showed up.
Yeah, something beneficial. And that's the question too. When you have 8, he passes without purchasing anything. There's a lot of little ones up there. He could cycle the market pretty
Yeah.
significantly.
It's 2
But-
rounds in a row he's passed with 8, I believe. Either that or 2 out of the last 3 rounds.
Wow. Yeah, you heard around the table the players saying, "Yeah, you're really good at hitting that 8 number." He's like, "Yeah, you bet I am." And that honestly goes back to a little bit to that early denial of Gurney. Baron just being able to pick up Gurney before Helena, and that forced Helena to get that power play, which was good for Fremen, but didn't add to that deck construction. It didn't add to that additional influence out there.
And it probably should be noted that Gurney is one of Helena's best cards, because if Gurney has a drawback, it's that sometimes the city spaces are blocked, but because of Helena's ability, Gurney is never blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always go for both Carthag and Arakeen, which are great spots on the board. Oh, what a heartbreaking 8 for Scott Leader.
Well, the Beast has to love seeing this, because he feels, I think, at this stage, well, this is great because I just need more time. Like, the Beast has the best deck and engine. Well, maybe not the best deck. Maybe that goes to the Baron.
Yeah. Baron does have 2 Spice Must Flow in their deck, though, so a little bit cluttered in terms of being able to access additional stuff. But yeah, Beast sitting at 4, wanting to catch up to that 7 point. But playing a lot of cards, easily jumping over Baron with the reveal. Because I think Gunthopter was plopped down there.
If things have gone wrong for the Beast this game, it has been lack of faction access.
Yeah.
Access to a Swordmaster paired with faction access is the best place to be when you have a Swordmaster. And Swordmaster where you have to use your extra moves to go to places like Secure Contract or Arakeen, or even, like you said, when we saw him have to reveal and not have a place to go. Those are some bad games sometimes.
Yeah.
right here. Yep.
The Duke, 4 actions this 4 agent turns this round.
Yeah.
Did put another troop in, is that true?
I think that was already committed before the Beast revealed.
He needs to reveal.
Oh, yeah. Back to you.
But Duke now sitting on 6 spice. A lot of spice happening around here.
Yeah.
The Beast ready to make a big play at Highliner for sure.
But the Duke is going to have first dibs at Highliner next round because of where the first turn marker is going to be.
It feels like the Beast is in a really good spot with those sort of conflicts. We can see Beast winning this conflict at 11 points. I can't help but think if those Worm Riders hadn't been used for the spice, that Helena would have been sitting at 12. You know, you push in 1 troop. She had 2 daggers and plus another 6.
Mm-hmm.
So 10, and maybe just would have needed to push in 2 troops to do it. But
one thing I don't like about the Beast's position here is, yes, he has Highliner spice, but he doesn't really want to play to the Spacing Guild. It's like kind of the last place he wants to play to now. He wants that Fremen, that easy point with the Fremen, and he wants to get started on either Bene Gesserit or the Emperor. He's probably at this stage not going to get them both. So he needs 3 plays to get 2 points on the politics tracks, and the Spacing Guild isn't really going to help him. So he's really just looking for this game to go long as he can make it.
Yeah.
Are the players waiting for some kind of ruling here? It seems like they're all...
Seems like they're waiting, but...
Can't tell if one of them is trying to make a decision or not. Is there a combat? Are they at combat and deciding whether to play an intrigue, maybe?
I think so. Yeah, because I heard Alex say, I better get my poker face on, get the sunglasses out, not wanting to reveal if the intrigue card that he's sitting on would be helpful. Because then this is the calculation, right? If you're the Baron and you've got intrigue cards,
right?
Do you play it now?
Right. Do you play
try
a
to get this
+3?
1 point?
Do you play a +3 to tie the Beast?
Yeah. It always feels like you should push for it.
Well, if you tie, you don't change your rewards.
Yeah.
So I can understand passing in that situation.
Yeah.
If your calculus is that the Beast doesn't have a chance to win. I believe that I will beat the Beast even if the Beast wins this.
Yeah.
Because +3 in the next combat could be 2 points.
True. And the Beast may be taking a pass of that next conflict.
But yeah, the Baron doesn't have Highliner spice, right? 4? Is that 4?
No, yeah, it's just 4.
Because he has the most troops in garrison, but at this stage of the game, 2 troops in garrison is not particularly
threatening
critical.
or yeah. But we do see the Beast pick up that point again, shortening that gap. You can see how quickly that gap gets made up. Now it's 7-7 for both Scots. Scots moving lockstep towards the finish line, and the Beast hot on the trail at 5.
So the Beast gets a defensive troop here, if they remember that rule. Yes, they do. Okay.
Because Imperial Basin came back up and I own it, I get a guy in the fight. Bonus. That's what I need, another guy. Timing it for sure. Again, it's the most missed rule in game.
Yeah, an obscure rule that's easy to forget about.
It is, yeah. It's one of those rules that is thematic and makes it feel more thematic if you catch it. But it is a rule that some players miss. Because, the Beast has control of the Imperial base, and other players at this point, story-wise, are coming after him. So the bonus troop represents his entrenched position and a defensive advantage for having control of it.
Yeah. And also incentivizes, a little bit for picking up fighting for those conflicts earlier on.
Yeah, because each one of those defensive advantages is a 2-point conflict, and usually it's hard. It's usually hard to win the game of Dune Imperium if you don't win one of these. Having said that, It happens all the time.
Yeah. Having
It
said
happens
that,
all the time.
Helena's closing her ears and running as quickly as she can towards the finish line. But
Exactly.
I've got to think that not getting that spice must flow that last round, that's really put a dent in Helena's chances.
Yeah, two 8 persuasion rounds can't be
Oof.
that helpful.
Yeah. Without them, you could be at 9 points.
Especially not adding to your deck. It's not like there was a consolation prize that Scott felt was worth buying, and he didn't want to gamble on buying a 1 and look for one.
It's not like there was a Quizat just sitting out there waiting to be taken.
Yeah. So the Baron does get the point that's hanging for him on the Spacing Guild, and he goes into the lead with that.
Yeah, makes sense. A really good play. All Baron has to do is win a conflict and hit that 10 points. Baron trying to figure out how they could win this conflict. The pressure is now on the players. Yeah, there we go. We see the selective breeding play that we thought we would see in the last round. Scott just staying the course.
Yep. It seems too little too late, though, to...
Yeah, it feels like that was a big hit last round, and because of that, I don't know if there's enough time to get to 10 before the other players do.
Yeah.
You gotta hope the Beast denies Baron here. That's what we gotta hope.
If you're sitting at the table, though, I don't think you expect the game to this round, because Duke Leto and the Beast have the upper hand at winning this combat. Like, there's just no question about that.
Yeah.
Especially the Beast, I suppose, because of the defensive advantage. But I mean, if Duke Leto is first to Highliner, I think he takes that advantage.
Well, he's pulling it back, but yeah, he goes with Thufir.
It's a good card.
Okay, makes sense. So that's a point for him, and possibly 2 more if he wins the conflict.
Yeah.
Here's my 6 payment if you want to verify.
Got me right there.
Sure. 6. 5 dudes. 5 dudes. That seems unfair.
It's a little scary, though, that the Duke had no troops to back this up. So it's not like it's going to be out of reach for the other players. And as we suspected from the last combat, when Scott Kushner was, deciding whether to play a combat card, it's possible that he's going to leap in here and try to come over the top.
Yeah.
And that would be the most likely way for the game to end this round.
David's going to risk it. He's thinking that he could win 2 points with 4 troops. If he can, that would be pretty spectacular. But I feel like he should have pushed all 5 in.
Yeah, I agree.
Not only that, you kind of threaten everybody else too. That and because he's trailing in the points, some people might just say, okay, well, maybe he's banking on that. Actually, maybe he's banking that they're going to want to target each other because he is back in, further behind, wanting to save that extra troop for a future conflict. Banking that people will just let him have it. And
but what about the Gunthopter? I mean, he fell to this trick earlier in the game. He went to the Highliner, left 1 troop behind in the garrison, and then the Gunthopter said, "Bang, get rid of that troop."
I think I heard some conversation at the table right before he played. He said, well, I got to put them all in because of Gunthopter. And Alex like, oh, no, Gunthopter, it's literally in my discard pile right now.
Oh, he showed it.
Yeah, he was like, I played it last turn. And David was like, oh, okay. And so I think that's why he held it back.
Wow. Is there gamesmanship there? At don't commit that 5th troop so that I can possibly win this.
Could be. That's certainly something that I would say. I'd be like, no, you don't have to. The thing that you're worried about, I'm happy offering that information. I will not kill that troop. You can put 4 in, totally fine. Just let me have the 2 points. Thanks very much, Ludo.
Yeah. Benny Gesserit's sister. Oh, really?
Getting those 4 troops.
Yeah, it shows the 4 troops over secrets and essentially half a point at Benny Gesserit. I'm not sure I mean, clearly he thinks those 4 troops are going to matter, and he might be right.
Mhm.
You killed him in the first.
It's a nice use of Solari at this point. I mean, we haven't seen the Beast get the High Council, but it also, the Beast deck is not based around getting influence. You know, it's not based around the Spice Must Flow. It's about
Sure.
winning these conflicts and trying to scoop up the next 2 and the next 2.
Yeah. Mentat would have been another nice option depending on his cards.
Hmm.
But
Cycle in that Gunthopter.
And now the Baron probably has a decision to make.
Mhm.
Do you take a lineup play that gives you the ability to fight this round with your combat intrigues? Or probably just one? Wow. I wonder if he has more than +3. Like, I wonder if he has multiple combat intrigues and he was wondering whether to burn them both last round.
Hmm. The way he's been getting Spice Must Flow, if he could have won that 1 point, I feel like he would have gone for it. Would have put him
Yeah.
at 9, and then just the Spice Must Flow needed to end it. Going
He's
for those
getting another
intrigue cards,
intrigue.
yeah.
Is he going above 3 by any chance here?
I don't think so. I think he's been playing them pretty frequently and getting benefit of them. It doesn't seem like anybody's holding on to any end game points at this point with their intrigues. Just from how quickly they've been played around the table, I think we saw in the ring game that it was pretty clear that there were some victory points that were being stashed away.
Yeah, I suppose that would be Scott Leader's path to victory at this point, after kind of failing at the Spice Must Flow to somehow find their way into plans within plans. They're the one player who could make use of it.
Yeah, Scott Leaders needs to start going for secrets and just draw through that intrigue deck until
I mean,
on a wing and a prayer.
His next play to secrets gets him 2 intrigues and a point, so that's clearly what he wants to do. I don't know if he has another play to the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah, I don't know if he does. Again, I think Scott Leader is feeling the crush of his lack of deck construction, so to speak.
Right.
Because again, kind of with that power play trap, you know, he just the way the cards have fallen, he hasn't been able to pick up. And the Chome directorship was really good to get those early points and to kind of shoot ahead. But it, again, doesn't leave a combo of those, doesn't leave him with much.
Another
again,
Worm Riders.
Setting up, just abandoning the idea of fighting for a conflict and just staying the course, hoping to get that spice, and then doing another selective greeting, trying to push through that deck as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It's unfortunately too slow of a strategy. I think the 6 swords... You know, early when he bought it, I thought you were right that he was just going to go for a combat strategy and on the back of having a known 4 to 6 swords, but he's been turning it down. And I think the Baron tipped off that he has no intentions of fighting Duke Leto here in this battle.
Yeah,
because he did not push any troops into combat.
And that feels like the right play for Baron. You're handily ahead. Somebody getting a 2 points right here doesn't put you into pressure of the game ending. And if you can make them spend everything, and then you're able to set yourself up for the next play.
The only thing I don't like about the play is that you get 3 spice even if you're in 3rd place here, and it would bring him up to highliner potential.
That's true, yeah.
And it's not like Helena has been showing herself to be a fighter.
Yeah, it's true. You're basically guaranteed 3 spice for 1 troop. Although we're seeing Helena get some troops now.
Yeah.
By going to the Sikh Tabor.
Wow, I guess it was a tough call. Both Baron and Helena going no Swordmaster this late in the game. A little surprising to me.
It's also surprising not pushing those troops in, because what are you saving your troops for? If you're not going
Right.
in on conflict, your
And-
your big Worm Riders is not going to come up next round.
More.
Yeah, this was a
So-
guaranteed 3 spice essentially for
Yeah,
Helena.
and maybe even 5 spice, and then you have a
Maybe.
potential to go for a Highlander. But I also think there's Helena's limited by the spaces where they can go, and so knows that the only way to get to Highlander. They also played that card this time, and they need to get in on Bene Gesserit.
Mm.
This also makes me question with that 8 if Helena should have taken Missionaria Protectiva, and just taken it, knowing that they want to maybe go Bene Gesserit. It can't be blocked in the circle spaces, so it's kind of a safe card. It's a one thing, and potentially try to cycle that market to see something when they know they're going to be drawing through a lot. Like, their strategy is to draw a lot of stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm a fan of Sardaukar Infantry when I'm drawing a lot of cards because
Yeah,
it's not really hurting me too bad on getting a Spice Must Flow. If you draw enough cards, you can still get to 9, and like the 2 extra swords. Like, I like to go for it all, if that makes sense. Like, both
right. Yeah.
fight for a good reward in the late game and get a Spice Must Flow.
And we see Leto with that move push the pressure on Fremen, on the Fremen track, now tied with Scott Leader,
Yeah, the
which is
nightmare scenario.
the pressure that he's for sure feeling. He needs to go up on many different tracks, and does not have the flexibility to do so.
Might be the last time. Seems to be an invasion going on. I have
A
two
lot of
thirds,
spice.
I
The
draw two
beast
dice.
is sitting on a lot of spice. Pretty much guaranteed Highliner for the beast next round.
Yep. And there is clearly going to be a next round here,
Hmm.
unless the Baron has some weird trick up his sleeve.
I don't know. I don't know if you're allowed to tap. You can tap.
You can tap the top.
The player's talking about superstition of cutting the deck. Are you allowed to tap the top card or not to get your bad vibes on it?
I have two influence here, so I get to draw 2 cards.
I'm sorry. I was
No, it's
looking
okay.
at
Your
your board. I
board
was
saying,
looking here, and I'm like,
you got no ability.
totally didn't even look.
Okay.
Now we see the Smuggler's Thopter finally being played and getting that 2-card draw. I can't help but think back to that previous time where the Beast might have been regretting that
All right, go ahead.
that extra deck cycle. But Beast pushes in, trying to maybe get those 2 points. Maybe a sneaky little Gunthopter ended up into his hand.
Yeah. Yeah, the reveal on Gunthopter is arguably the strongest part of that card, right? Like, the top
Yeah.
agent part destroys troops and garrisons. The bottom part adds, if I recall correctly, effectively 5 swords, because I believe it gives 3 swords and lets you
Yeah.
push 1
Push in.
troop from garrison, which is
Sure.
a nice little surprise to use in your reveal turn. It's almost as good as a fully powered Worm
Worm
Riders.
Riders? Yeah.
Yeah, it does cost you a troop, where Worm Riders doesn't cost you that, but if you've got the troops to spare, wow, that would be
Yeah.
an incredible play if you drew that.
I think unfortunately for Duke Leto, I feel like the Beast, I would be scared of the Beast deck in terms of how many swords and abilities. I feel like the Beast is going to take this conflict, even though on paper Duke Leto has an extra troop in there. I don't see it being in there for long. We'll see if Leto pushes in some more troops and manages to do that. But
Yeah, he's already turned down all of his troop pushes since that Highliner. He went to Hardy Warriors and didn't push
Mhm.
either of those troops. He
Yeah.
is living on the edge.
I think when you're in last place, which Leto is, I think he's got to take a couple risks,
Yep.
and hasn't been as efficient with his cubes.
Helena got the spice must flow.
Helena got the spice must flow, getting to 8 points. That's a good get. Must be happy with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
it feels
still,
yeah, it feels too little too late, but
it
at least
feels too little
you know.
too late. But if the Baron gets put off, by winning a conflict and is unable to buy the spice must flow as well, I don't know. If Helena could have gotten that spice must flow, I'm sorry, Scott Leader, if you're watching this back and you're reliving the pain of that 8 draw. Sometimes the cards just don't fall in your way. That was like incredibly improbable for Scott Leader not to be able to get a spice must flow in the last round.
By one measure, Scott Leader is 2 persuasion away from being at 10 points right now, because he had those 2 different reveal turns at 8.
Yeah. I think one of those 8 went to the Chome directorship, so that's how.
No,
he
I don't
picked
think.
up Oh no,
is that true? I thought he passed with 8 twice.
Oh right, yeah, it could have been.
It's possible that he only had 7. I think there was one time where I couldn't see all the numbers, but I thought it was 8. I thought it was 2 2s and 2 1s plus the high console.
Right. Yeah, so could be at 10, just a day late and a dollar short, as the old saying goes.
Okay, so Leto coming into Arrakis, is he going to meet the challenge that the Beast is presenting here and push more troops?
I mean, he has to, but I don't think he's going to.
I think you're right, by the way. When you're unlucky, sometimes the right play is to roll the dice and try to get lucky, and unfortunately, you can sometimes dig your own grave. Doesn't mean you've made the wrong play.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate.
It's just how the Raw champion has got to play. You push your luck. It's going to go one way or the other, right?
Right. I like it.
And I don't think it's a bad play, because I think, with the Beast putting in 3, it might be, there's an intention there to win, right? And so you need to know that there is that intention. And so if you wanted to get the 2, I probably would have pushed in 2. Just 2 troops. Kept 2 for myself.
So the Beast is now probably looking at his last play.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's taken the Mentat this round. I could imagine taking the Mentat as the Beast if I had access to it.
That's true, because the deck has been cycled.
And then you just see what Duke Leto reveals, and you know exactly what you need to win, other than Intrigue card.
Ends up going and just getting some Solari. Must have been blocked by his hand.
Yeah.
Solari at this stage in the game feels kind of pointless.
Yeah, unless he feels like he wants to go back to rally troops next turn, maybe?
Yeah,
next
that's
round?
true. Yeah. That might be it, and get that supply and be able to start pushing them in.
I tend to agree with you. It's certainly not critical. I do think having Mentat money in the late game is often critical.
That's true. And by doing this, he the Beast doesn't. Helena has 2 Solari. Leto doesn't have any, and Baron has 4 Solari. So there's still Solari left to play. Here we go, David. The conflict being resolved. David being at 12 with his reveal, or 11 with his reveal.
I think I'm gonna have tiebreaker.
Okay, 3 swords. Oh, he triggered Fiddick Death Commando. Yeah, he had 4 swords with Fiddick Death Commando triggering off of Arrakis Liaison.
Yeah,
plus a
that's
dagger.
exactly it. Yeah.
It looks like he wants to play an intrigue card, but he held back.
Yeah, it was also a plot card too, so wouldn't be able to play it now.
Did he pass his turn? You can play a plot card during your reveal.
Oh, right. Yeah, during the reveal. Sorry, I thought we were on to the conflict.
All right, I will reveal. I have 2 swords.
Ooh, only 2 swords for the Beast.
Only 2 swords.
So he
with Duncan
didn't have the
Idaho.
Gunpowder.
Water. Duncan.
Wow. So it
And
was
I have 5.
it was a bluff, kind of?
Maybe.
I don't know what kind of value you get out of bluffing the person who's in last place, though.
I mean, there must be an intrigue card waiting to be played at this point.
I hope
But,
so, for good sake. Otherwise, I think it was a mistake to go in with 3.
Yeah, but I want to see David win this. I want to see him have read the competition and get it with just 4 cubes. That would feel
Sure.
very exciting to see.
Agreed.
Do you wish to waste an entry? I will also save mine.
Wow.
Wow, he did it.
He pushed his luck and it paid off. What a play.
Wow.
What an exciting this is the beginning of David's comeback. Let's see Lido go all the way from here on out.
I get 5 spice.
I mean, it's possible. He's 1 point away from an easy Emperor point. He's 1 point away from stealing an alliance from Helena. He's probably not going to get the Spacing Guild point, and he's probably not going to get Bene Gesserit, but that's 2 points there, and that brings him to 7. If he could somehow win another combat worth 2 points and get a Spice Must Flow,
it's possible. And because he's held back his troops, he's now got some weight to throw around. I mean, there for sure is going to be a highliner for the beast who's sitting on what looks like 15 spice. But,
you can always hope that somebody who's sitting on that much spice just draws a dud hand and has no access to the Spacing Guild. Arakeen is the battle for 2 points, so it is kind of what people want to see who are pursuing a combat path. Lido has the opportunity to get a point with his signet ring on the Emperor track, which would be a nice. I'd like to see that, to not have to spend a card up there.
For sure, that seems like the best application of the Emperor of the signet ring.
And he's got the water. Hardy Warriors would be like his clearly high priority right now, because it would get him a point and let him compete for this 2 point conflict.
We see a Mentat play, just cycling the cards.
Yeah, makes sense. Dagger doesn't help with Spice Must Flow, so you'd rather turn it into something else.
Being able to shuffle his deck, that's huge, and potentially locking in that pulling up Diplomacy. I think the only card in his deck that will let him move up on that Fremen track. And
it's
maybe
probably
hoping to hit Hardy Warriors.
It's kind of rough for him to want to hit both Fremen and Bene Gesserit at this point. I think I would probably take the Bene Gesserit and hope that Duke Leto just draws blank and can't catch me on Fremen, because at least the Bene Gesserit gives you either 2 intrigues if you choose the secrets path, or the chance of getting a Spice Must Flow at the other path.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you got to go Bene Gesserit and hope that you can then get your Spice Must Flow to hit 10 before Leto steals the Fremen alliance from you. Yeah, it feels like I can't fault much of Scott Leader's play throughout this game. It feels like he's had some really unlucky draws, and the only thing would have been to maybe invest in some Arrakis liaisons.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have bought a 1-cost card and fished for something better. But
yeah,
I think
I might
at
have,
the time
I might have gone,
he might have gotten Duncan Idaho. I think came up after he passed one time.
Yeah,
but it's not like Duncan Idaho is going to help him with Spice Must Flow either. Duncan Idaho is another "you should be fighting with me" kind of card.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a Missionaria Protectiva, just because of the Bene Gesserit implications. If you're going to get another card, you're going to hope it's Bene Gesserit to maybe chain together, and if not, you can at least use it to go to Research Station.
Right.
I will play.
I think that's why I like Missionaria Protectiva over Sardaukar Infantry, just because it has that ability to go to that draw card to keep that deck cycle going.
Oh, the Beast goes to Hardy Warriors, which has implications in terms of blocking Duke Leto from going there. But of course, the Beast wanted to go there anyway. He wants to get his own point there.
Picking up a point and hoping to get 2 in this conflict.
Gets trashed into
Beast wanting for 2 back-to-back conflicts, which is a kind of a potential with all of that spice there.
Yeah. Normally that would just win you the game. If you won round 7 and round 8 4 points, you'd
Yeah.
normally end the game because you'd have enough points elsewhere. The problem he had was 0 influence on Bene Gesserit, 0 influence on Emperor.
hmm
So even if he wins this, let's say even if he wins this and somehow manages a Spice Ones flow, that still doesn't end the game for him.
Yeah. Because of that great read by David Meredith in the last conflict, making sure to take those 2 points and put himself right back in it.
So the Baron probably thinking, is this the time to fight now? Is it going to go another round?
Yeah.
Like, I think you want to fight here if you think you can take second.
Also, you also know that the Beast didn't have intrigue cards to play in the last battle, or else he would have played them. You know, it was close enough.
He was down by what, 4? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. You know he doesn't have a 4 or 5. Oh,
Yeah.
and you're right. The Beast didn't win. I don't know what I was thinking with winning 7 and 8. I think I was still thinking in my mind
Right.
that he had that and he didn't.
Yeah. But it could have just seemed like with all of the strength in his deck. But maybe people are scared of. Maybe people are assuming that this hand drawn has Gunplopped, or if you've been keeping track of the Beast deck, you know that every so often Beast has a really good battle hand, and you don't want to overcommit in that battle hand. So also could be just let the Beast have this one and hope to win the next conflict. Hope the next conflict is also another 2-point conflict.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in the lead, you want the conflict to be the not 2-point conflict. If you want to just kind of like cross the finish line and not see somebody else be able to kind of catch you from behind. Is it Grand Vision, I think it's called, in the Conflict 3 that gives 2 influence with 1 faction and an intrigue card. It is generally the weakest of the Conflict 3s. Occasionally it can be like critical in that you can pass the leader and take their alliance from them.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be a horrible one for the Beast to be able to get, being so far behind on both Emperor and Bene Gesserit. At least scooping up a point would not be beneficial for Scott Leader. Well, you could maybe take, you could make a play to take Emperor away from the Baron.
You could. Yeah, this game looks to be like Fremen is going to be the only place where an alliance might swap. Everything else feels like the players are just conceding the alliances to the front runner.
Yeah, it's a tough play, but Helena's able to get that 3-card draw, and still has 1 troop to play because of that Mentap play.
Yep. Out of the water now.
Oh, I've got to do this.
Oh, and Signet Ring. Signet Ring is being taken.
Reserved Missionaria Protectiva.
Reserving Missionary Protectiva. Let's see what would have come up. Would it have been helpful? Fremen Camp.
Good
2
card.
spice for 3 troops and 2 influence.
Not gonna change anything probably at this stage of the game.
Not gonna change anything. No. Might it have been good to be in Helena's deck for that additional 2 influence? I don't know.
It's a great card.
2 cards would have been filled up. Oh yeah. I don't think it will have that much of effect on any sort of conflicts, though.
Helena doesn't have the resources to go for like a lucky intrigue point. Like there are 2 resource conversion points. The Sleeper Must Awaken, 4 spice for a point, and Chom shares for 7 Solari for a point, and Helena is going to be 2 spice short. Like, you could think like, all right, I have a chance of getting one of those at Secrets, getting 2 intrigues.
Oh, I got the wrong one.
Yeah.
Goes down there.
No.
So this is back down. Did you push this up? Or
No.
Oh, is this the Duke taking the alliance here?
Okay.
The Duke might be taking the alliance.
That's the reason I was going there. So I can push it there and get. That's better.
Oh,
That's a
that's
point, too.
brutal.
Yeah, it's a backbreaking move for Helena to
That
see.
is brutal.
I think that's gonna cost me.
See the pain on his face.
Yeah. You can hear Scott Leader say, I think that's going to cost me the game.
Get, water out of that. Right.
And that was the only place where he could have gone with that Spice Hunter card. You can see he wanted to go for the Emperor for the guaranteed point, but it does make more sense to take out Scott Leader, and that feels like a nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
You're all done there.
And he still has the ring that he can use for the point with the Emperor. I don't know if the ring is in his discard pile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leto has a lot of flexibility too when Thufir comes back around.
Everybody finish the round.
Including the person who went to 10. Break it out.
This is another Beast versus the Duke showdown with Helena and the Baron just sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, I have to
Lack of
assume.
sword masters.
Yeah, that's such a tough break for Helena, and it just feels like it's so hard to just ignore conflict, which is what Helena's been doing for the majority of this game. Got that first conflict point, and then it was like, you know what? Fighting's not for me.
I have Worm Riders. Fighting's not for me. A little bit of an odd approach, but you can understand it. Spice is also important, and the top part of Worm Riders is good.
Yeah, and especially for triggering the gene manipulation or whatever that Bene Gesserit area is called, selective breeding, rather. Yeah, it's just tough though. I feel like Scott Leader should have pushed in that one troop and gobbled up 3 spice from the last conflict. Would have been able to do so. It was a big third place thing, and especially if there's no hope at winning any other conflicts, what are the 2 garrison troops doing there for you?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you never know what 3 spice can. That could give you the out on, for example, the Sleeper Must Awaken. Right.
Or that might give you the option to block Highliner, to go for a Highliner play just to block it from anybody else.
Yeah.
That 15 spice that's the Beast is sitting on doesn't mean much if you can't spend it.
True.
Well, unless it comes down to tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think Helena would have had to have taken second place to block the Highliner last time because I think he has 2. Yeah.
Yeah. He only has 2, so we'll put him at 5. And then again with only 2 agents. But it's really interesting. Both Helena and the Baron are the point leaders right now, and both are the ones who opted for High Council over Swordmaster. It ended up being that decision. That's how Baron's been getting those Spice Must Flow, though, with that extra 2 bump. And same with Helena.
Similar strategies. Helena's just kind of gotten unlucky with some of her draws, and paid a bit of a cost with the Chom directorship, right? Chom directorship was great when bought, but then becomes a dead draw when you're going for the Spice Must Flow. But the Baron has been quite successful with his draws, but also staying out of these combats is somewhat questionable.
Yeah, just must not have the weight to throw around, and is hoping that next round that a 2-pointer comes up into round 9. So we're definitely going into round 9 at this point.
Looks like it, yeah. And the Duke is making this a really respectable, from the lowest echelon of the score track, while the other players were up on top. You gotta hand it to him. If this is indeed his first game of Dune Imperium, quite impressive for David.
Yeah. Yeah, he's made a really spectacular comeback. I love that read, and you can see the benefit of holding on to those troops, because now he's got the chance to pull in these other 2 points, right? We see Duncan
Yeah.
Idaho being played, though. Oh no, sorry, Gurney being played.
Ooh, is it time? Is the Baron striking?
3 troops total, and could push 5 in then.
You'd think this would be
And
the time
does
to come
just
in
that.
hard. Yeah.
Wow, makes a play. Scott Kushner making a play for the win right now.
Question on that. It's the one there. So I understand it's you can push 3. Is that correct? And 2 there, and that counts. That counts
Anything he
towards
gets
that.
during the action, he can then push in, as long as he's on one of these spaces.
Clarifying the rules, just making sure for his own sense. Scott Leader seeing the Scott across from him.
This is why Gurney is a strong card.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, 5 troops into the battle. That is almost
Wow.
like going to the Highliner, right?
Yeah. Yeah, who needs spice when you got Gurney on your side?
Yeah. And the value part of it is the value of having stockpiled some troops in your garrison. Oh my goodness!
Reversing the decision, deciding not to go for it. What?
What is happening? Must basically have no swords in his hand, and he knows this is my last action, therefore I have no chance of winning, which also implies that he doesn't have a combat card, which means I had the wrong read earlier when he was like pausing and not playing a combat card when he was 3 behind.
Yeah, making that decision before he draws cards, deciding, he said, listen, I haven't drawn a card, I haven't gotten new information into my hand.
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't have to make the decision. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can wait till you draw a card. You should always draw first.
Yeah, true, because you can do it in any order. Him drawing cards wouldn't have even mattered, because he would have been able to have that information in his head before making that decision.
2 more spice.
2 more spice.
There's another play of the Worm Riders instead of revealing, although at this point obviously he's lost the alliance, so the Worm Riders are only worth 4 swords on reveal.
Yeah. Building up
push troops. I mean, I think you want to steal things from the Baron, right? You'd rather see the intrigue card and 2 Solari go to you instead of the Baron.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is, especially when the Baron's sitting with 6 troops in the garrison, do you think your 3 is going to combat it? No chance. Well, unless you get your Worm Riders back into your hand and actually use it for conflict purposes. But I think you got to push in at least 2. Make sure you take that 3rd place, get that intrigue card, maybe luck into something, luck into your the plans within plans, and take your 2 points home to the bank. And walk your way into the finals.
Yeah.
But a conservative play that I think.
Oh, here's a big play by the Duke. He's playing his signet ring. He's probably going to get his point on the Emperor track and tie Helena on the score track and kind of be in 2nd place here.
Yeah.
He gets a lot of spice from it. It doesn't look like he has enough for another Highliner.
Yeah. So. But he takes his point and moves. Wow, this is such a comeback from David. And this just shows you how fluid this game can be. Like the swings that can happen. David felt like he was right out of it. And now, being a real threat to win this conflict, could put him at 9 points. It still feels like the Beast's hand is likely better to take him out in this conflict. However, depending upon the draw, the Beast decides, you know what, I'm not going to take anything, let anything happen by chance. Goes for a Highliner play, knows that he's got the next Highliner play. Just depends how many is he going to push in.
Wow. I did not see that coming, but I guess it makes sense. Well, Again, he is basically
He doesn't have. He didn't get
giving up on the Bene Gesserit and Emperor tracks with this move too.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's probably just making sure.
I think it's probably the wrong move, though, because I think you want to go Bene Gesserit. You want to get the secrets. You want to capitalize on the... You could do your card draw, again, to cycle through to get Gunthopter into your hand quicker.
Yep.
You don't need the extra troops. And you know that Leto is trailing behind you, and with that extra draw or that extra intrigue card, you're going to lock up the conflict in a similar way. Plus, you can then push for that 1 point.
Do we know what card he played to go to the Highliner, or like was it a diplomacy? Or
I'm not sure. It could have been. It must have been diplomacy, because I think all of his other cards don't allow him to go into the.
Okay.
And it's weird too. It feels like if it was diplomacy, he should have gone to Bene Gesserit, because he also has Bene Gesserit's sister in his deck, which would give him that second play.
so it looks like the Baron just used an intrigue card to get enough. It might have been something like recruitment mission to get enough persuasion to get a Spice Must Flow. I couldn't
Wow.
read the card on my screen, but he definitely got a Spice Must Flow, and he
Yeah.
played an intrigue card.
Yeah.
Was it Water of Life, perhaps? Because it
It
looks like
looks like
Water
he-
of Life is sitting on top of his intrigues.
Yeah, he might have been able to draw into it, or
Yeah, Water of Life is spend 1 water and 1 spice to draw 3 cards, I believe, which is quite often turns into a Spice Must Flow.
yeah.
So he's at 9.
9 points for the Baron. Wow. And a Spice Must Flow
For
for
Helena.
as well, putting her back to 8. Again, feeling that crushing steel of the Fremen Alliance token.
Wow. It's quite a game.
This is it is really anyone's game at this point. Plus, the Beast is likely to win. The conflict boom will be at 8 points, so 7, 8, 8, 9. It all comes down to that next conflict potentially.
Yeah. I do agree with you that the Highliner was probably a mistake. I think with Swordmaster,
Mm-hmm.
you have enough time to get your second step on the Bene Gesserit, for example. Like I think Secrets or Selective Breeding, either one there would have been great.
Yeah. We see David also deciding to buy the Fremen camp, which is not a bad play for his deck with the Fatakin Death Commando in there, knowing the Fremen bonds need to be put into play, wanting to get those troops in, and conflict being the only way for David to get up there. Feels like a good get, especially with about being able to shuffle his deck. And another assassination mission comes up. If one wasn't enough for you, we got the double trouble, the double trash for a Swordsmaster. Maybe Baron and Helena could trash them both and get their Swordmaster as a ending point.
Looks like the Beast is going to take this one home. Doesn't look like David's going to play any cards.
Yeah,
Does he
unable
have
to take it. Oh, yeah, David would have loved to win that conflict.
It's a pretty good second prize, though. He's going to probably pick Intrigue and
Spice.
I don't know. It depends. Like,
It depends if you want to go Mentat. Yeah, he has no
like
Solari.
that. But Spice would give him enough for another Highliner. Yet another Duke Leto Highliner incoming?
Yeah. And plus, we know he wants the conflict to win.
Put 3 spices.
These are 3s?
Those are 5s.
Oh, but you just gained 2.
Okay. And then he gets $3.
Thanks, sir.
You get an intrigue card.
Oh, he chose Spice and Solari. Did not
Solari. Wow.
Did not choose an intrigue. It looks like he's sitting on 2 intrigues in front of him.
Yep. That
So
looks
yeah,
true.
that is surprising to me. I would probably maybe he's thinking I want the Mentat and the Highliner,
Yeah.
which is
I
a little greedy. A little greedy.
I don't
on
see
his
how
part.
you get both at this
Yeah.
point in the game. I don't see how you can get both. Someone's gonna take it from you. But hey, pushing your luck worked before. It's worked for our Raw player once, our Raw champion. It might work out for him again. Who knows? just slipping under the
would, you know,
radar.
if David pulls this out, this would be an incredible
I want to see it. Yeah.
underdog / comeback victory. So
Yeah.
I've got to say I'm going to root for him from here on out, even though I think he's still quite the underdog to take this, because he's the only one right now who has 0 troops in his garrison.
Yeah, it would even pushing 5 in, you're just equal with wherever somebody else has to go. The last of the 2-point conflicts does turn up though. This is gonna be the last round of the game then.
Yep, guaranteed.
Someone, unless David gets this, and for some reason nobody else is able to get a Spice Must Flow, I feel like the way Scott Kushner's deck has been built, he's been getting Spice Must Flow. He's gotten 3 Spice Must Flow points up there as the Baron, which is an enormous amount.
So he might have a clunky hand right now. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that I can spot any of his cards. He also, with that play that he made last round, there's a chance that he has rapid deployment intrigue, and he's just hoping to take his 2 turns here, maybe even go to, say, rally troops to get 4 more troops, and then just push them all in with an intrigue.
Yeah, I think so. If that feels like he's got to be sitting on something to let him deploy them a bunch. I can see a fold space in his hand and just a bunch of not a bad hand. I don't see a lot of Spice Must Flow. I see a lot of influence markers there. So there could be another Spice Must Flow in his future, but he does have a fold space in his turn in his hand as Baron.
What is Duke Leto playing? Is he spending his spikes?
He's playing through fear.
He is
going to Highliner.
Oh,
we are seeing another Duke Leto Highliner. This is very exciting.
His 3rd Highliner of the game.
Wow, levels the playing field. The Beast is not happy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
The Beast wanted to just dominate this battle. But we see another Duke Leto Highliner, which is just an exceptional thing. Duke Leto also sitting on 2 water, so could potentially draw a bunch of cards.
Right. The rest of the table is probably thinking, like, is this right? How many times can you even go to the Highliner?
But it also shows you the benefit of getting those second place positions,
Exactly, Chris.
David's been the one capitalizing on those, and everybody else has been so conservative with their troops that they don't want to expend it on the exchange. But there's been a lot of 3rd place misses that you could have picked up a lot of extra resources.
Yep, the Beast taking the choice to go for as much combat as he can here by going to Hardy Warriors, which it's good if he wins, and it's bad if he doesn't. But I guess it's bad if he doesn't regardless. Although I guess there's a world where if the Duke wins this fight, we go to round 10.
Yeah, I just have to. I don't know. Is there a way? The only way that Scott Kushner gets to 10 is with a Spice Must Flow, right?
Right.
Or an intrigue card.
Yeah, like he is sitting on a lot of resources, so either one of those kind of special point intrigue cards would. Oh, he's playing one. Oh, it's to take the Menta. It's a card called Calculated Hire, I believe.
Right.
An intrigue name that I am quite proud of. Even if some of my colleagues poked me for naming the card that. But yeah, that's a strong card to use at this stage of the game to be able to get Mentat without taking an action. Especially for somebody without a Swordmaster. Kind of catches him up on action.
That's a really good play. I think you hear Scott Leader saying, yeah, good play. I had my eye on that Mentat too. I think Scott Leader was hoping maybe he could make a play maybe for the 2 points, right? He was holding back on getting troops in. I mean, he could go to Highliner still because he is Helena.
No, he can't.
He can't be.
Helena only lets you infiltrate Landsrat and city spaces.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, Helena, it's nice being Helena where you can like not get locked out of Swordmaster when you have enough Solari. But yeah, not quite strong enough to be able to go to the faction tracks and infiltrate. Yeah. But there are 2 infiltrate intrigue cards in the deck, and I don't believe we've seen one shown yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen either of them. Oof, we see a fold space, takes the Mentat, and then can go anywhere as the Baron. Flexibility.
Wow, where do you go? Where do you go here? Do you go for Bene Gesserit? And no, he does not care about getting the
Doesn't
Bene
care about
Gesserit.
Bene Gesserit.
Probably
I
doesn't have
feel-
another, and probably knows that Scott Leader is going to go to selective breeding or secrets. Like he probably knows that he can't get 2 plays in on the Bene Gesserit this round
Yeah,
because Scott will highly prioritize one of those spaces.
yeah, he has to be going there. He has to be going to selective breeding right away.
Nope.
Unless he's got to make a play for, we see Baron pushing in, wanting to get in on this conflict as well. The only reason why Scott wouldn't go to selective breeding is if he was really trying to win this conflict, I guess, and
I think
goes
it's
for
too
the
late.
intrigue card.
I don't think he can win this conflict with two agents.
Yeah. Maximum of
troops.
3 agents, to be pushed in. If he had, right, because he doesn't have the alliance token of Fremen anymore. Scott Leader also probably hoping that this wasn't the end of the game. If the other card had been pulled, he might have had a chance to win it, take back Fremen alliance. Maybe that's what he was banking on. And just again getting unlucky with the card flips, but goes for that selective breeding. Makes sense. Taking that alliance token. I mean, taking that alliance token and getting a Spice Must Flow puts him at 10.
He trashes a dagger out of his hand because he has no discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage of the game, he could have just trashed the diplomacy itself because he's not going to ever see it again. But
yeah,
I think he thinks, like, I'm not using this dagger.
Yeah. Well, the Mentat also being the only spot where it would have made any sense.
And he goes to 9 points with the alliance. Hopefully he took his intrigue card that he should have gotten from going to 4.
Yeah, I don't know if he did. That's the biggest boon of getting up, almost equal to a point at this point.
At this stage, when you need to get lucky, yeah, you absolutely need to take that draw.
So I'm gonna go here.
Oh, Fremen Camp by Duke Leto. He got
Fremen
the draw.
Camp. What a play.
That's
Gets
incredible.
those additional. That was a good get. That was a good pickup, and spends, I think, the spice to put his troops.
Nice play.
Wow,
Just
what a
goes
play.
to show that this is a deck builder. You do want to get cards that do good things, and he certainly has tried to do that.
This is David's winning. This could put him at 9 within striking distance.
He has.
Scott's,
oh no, he had enough water to go to the research station, but now he does not.
Now he does not.
I was thinking like maybe if he wins this and gets a Spice Must Flow.
Yeah. You gotta feel bad for Helena though. Has been so unlucky. Could be at 10 points right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
With losing that Fremen, could be at 10 points. With getting a Spice Must Flow in those 2 8 draws, could be at 10 points.
So the Baron has a window here. The Baron is like really happy to see Duke Leto take command of this combat because it gives the Baron an out to get yet another Spice Must Flow and crawl to 10 points and hope that that's enough to take the win.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I would have been more afraid of the Beast here.
Yeah, taking it.
Because obviously the Beast is at 8 points, sitting on a ton of spice for a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Beast at 7 troops in the battle, though. Leto only at 8 troops. Beast being able to push in there by going to seek Tabor.
Yeah. And this, I mean, I don't believe... We talked about how he might have had the Gunthopter. I don't believe he revealed it last time, did he?
I don't think he did, yeah. The Beast may be sitting on one of those big hands. Baron pushing in just to put the pressure, probably feeling that the Beast is likely to take it, and so might as well push for that second place.
I wonder if we'll see the Beast go to research station. He's the only one at the table who has the 2 water to do it. It's not
Yeah.
like it helps him that much in combat unless he doesn't have like Gunthapter in his hand and he really needs to draw it.
Yeah.
Go there.
Oh,
Go there.
Ugh.
Scott Leader forgot there that the Mentat wasn't available.
Could you still go there and just draw a card
Yes,
and
you
just not
can-
take the Mentat? So you
can
could.
do that. But he's
Opting
taking
for that 1 influence.
the he probably figures this is going to put me exactly 9. Why should I
Yeah.
draw a card?
Yeah, which may not. And judging by how Scott's drawn throughout this game, probably safer to take the bird in the hand.
So let's explore the possibility of both Helena and the Beast getting a Spice Must Flow. In that world, Helena's at 3 spice for tiebreakers.
Yeah, and the Baron's at 5.
The Baron's at 5
Plus-
with troops in the combat for rewards.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Baron would take tiebreakers.
Yeah, both second and third of the conflict get 3 spice.
But there is a world here where the Baron fails at getting the Spice Must Flow. Helena
Mhm.
gets the Spice Must Flow. Duke Leto wins the battle, and Helena, despite those horrible turns of reaching
Yeah.
8 twice, Helena could still win this game.
Yeah, she could take it out, but a lot of things have to fall
Right.
her way. The only time someone has gone to the Bene Gesserit track,
Play anywhere on this.
Interesting.
You can play in these spaces.
Yeah, have
guess
the
it-
infiltrate.
That card.
Funny that he had the infiltrate, and he was always the one going to Highliner first, so he never needed to use infiltrate to Highliner.
yeah, not a bad play. Getting an intrigue card, hoping for a big conflict card
Yeah.
there. That seems like the correct play from David. David really ramping up in this game. I want to
Oh, I'm
see.
so-
I want to see the
sorry.
2 point.
That was not an infiltrate. It was my bad. That is the card Dispatch
Oh,
and
that-
Envoy that gives him the 4 faction
To
icons.
go
So-
anywhere you want.
Yeah, I was wrong. Not an infiltrate. So we still haven't seen an infiltrate in this game, and probably won't unless we see it played right now by
Yeah.
the Beast. Although, has the Beast used all of his agents? I think
No,
everybody.
the Beast has 1 more, and then also Baron still has the Mentat.
I get 2 guys.
The Beast's signet
Oh,
coming into play. I think the Duke's hopes for taking Arrakis may have just been rest.
and we
rest
see the
assured.
research station with a 3 draw. If Gunthopter wasn't in the Beast's hand, we're pretty much guaranteed that it is
Yeah.
now.
Wow,
pushes in.
what an opportunity to be this late in round 9, being the only one with 2 water to go to the research station on your last action.
Yeah.
That is a rare occasion.
Yeah. Beast also having an excess of water because he needed to spend it to go to Hardy Warriors to start the turn off.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry. You get 1 spice?
One additional.
One more.
We see Scott Kushner going for spice, maybe thinking that the spice might be a tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker, yeah. Because the Beast, by winning this,
All right.
won't get any more spice, and he'll be at 5-9 spice. And the Baron just went to 7.
7.
So if the Baron, yeah, that
The
could,
Baron would have 10 spice.
yeah, could
that,
do it.
That
So
play, I feel like he was going there more to push his troops in, but we see Helena does get Spice Must Flow, pushing into
At
10
10.
points.
You're the metronome. You're like saying, okay.
Set the tone. We gotta match or pass.
Yeah.
What is the tiebreaker?
does the Beast have enough cards
Oh boy.
and enough persuasion without a High Council to get a Spice Must Flow here? Because that would,
3 cards, man.
with
Yeah.
the victory, give him 11 points.
11.
Got intrigues.
That would be the key thing. We did just hear Scott Kushner say, "What's the tiebreaker again?" So I think Scott Kushner went to that space just because it was the place where he could push in his troops, not really being aware of the tiebreaker. Or maybe that's a table taco. What is it again? Oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, probably not me. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Oh, what is this? Wait a minute.
That's the wrong
That
one.
is
That's
not
this one.
the right symbol.
If you look at the
Oh,
it's this
Oh no, David thought he had.
David thought he had
Benny
it to get
Gesserit.
that point. Oh, which would have been great.
Oh,
Would have put him at 8.
That also
And
would have
then
been
if you
great.
won in-
Oh, it's the Emperor. He could have gotten 2 troops on a previous play down and pushed 2 more troops into battle with that intrigue.
Oh no.
All right,
Instead of, but
I
he
will
may have
reveal-
just drawn that with his intrigue card.
Oh,
He
right,
did
with the
go
secret.
get that with,
Yeah.
with the
So it was too
secret,
late
yeah.
by that point.
Never sniffed a number that high, but,
We see 4 swords, no Gunthopter. Didn't
Oh
draw
my
into
goodness.
Gunthopter,
plus 4, 22.
but putting him at 22, significantly ahead of Leto, and it feels like
I will not buy it.
I'll reveal. I have
He
10.
did he have enough? Did the
10.
beast have enough to buy a Spice Must Flow? If he didn't choose swords with the Benny Gesserit sister, it looks like a lot.
It
but
looks like
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
So,
1, 2, 3.
Oh no, Duncan is part of that. That's a water symbol, not
That's a
persuasion.
water. That's a water. Yeah. It looks like an influence, but it's water. So
There we go.
wouldn't have had a chance. But we see Scott Kushner push into buying a Spice Must Flow as well, pushing into that 10 points, which means that Scott Leader is dead in the water.
Yeah. His head kind of shook as if like that was my last chance for
No, I
like
got it.
this combat to go the other way, for you not to have a Spice Must Flow.
Wow. And yeah, having that Fremen being taken away and those missed opportunities for the Spice Must Flow, it feels like, honestly, it feels like just really bad luck that Helena wasn't able to take this win.
Yeah, certainly some bad luck. I do think when Duke Leto is right behind you and you have no plays to push your alliance forward, that you probably should expect that you're losing that, but certainly some bad luck on the persuasion.
And it's true too. It's just the deck, the building of the deck with those higher cards didn't end up panning out as effectively as for worker placement as well. I think fell into that trap.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the row, I can't necessarily knock somebody's decisions when they refuse to buy the cheap cards. In this case, probably would have given him a better chance, but in some worlds, staying away from the Sardaukar infantries of the world do stop you from hitting the Spice Must Flow. It's not my style, but it's a reasonable approach.
Yeah. And I think what was going on just on the table is Scott Kushner was trying to play an intrigue card, but it is a plot card. And since we're in the conflict phase, he couldn't play the intrigue card to add more troops to the battle. I think Scott Kushner was trying to win this battle because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 troops in there and is at 20 strength. And so with that intrigue card, I think he would have been able to put in a couple more troops and potentially have taken it.
Do you know what the intrigue card was?
I'm trying to look, but I think he pulled it back. I just heard them talking, and then Alec was pointing out, "Don't worry, even when I win this, you're getting 3 points, 3 spice, and you're going to beat me in that tiebreaker."
So wow, 10, 10, 10.
10, 10, 10.
And then the Honorable Duke made quite a comeback, but stalled out right in the end.
Yeah, could have easily made that quick play. Yeah, we see Scott Kushner, Alec informing Scott Kushner of his win. Scott Kushner not really understanding or believing his eyes of what's happening. This said end of game cards. Oh, is there anyone who can reveal any end of game points? It doesn't look like it. Heads bowed around the table. 10 spice, they're counting it up. 9 spice. 3 spice.
Dude.
1 spice is the difference.
Wow. Congratulations happening around the table. 1 spice is the difference between the Beast and the Baron. Wow.
I was bringing out 3
guys.
more.
No, you were going to win the fight.
He was bringing out 3 more troops.
Oh, reinforcements he had.
He had reinforcements in his hand and would have won the fight. And so
Oh, wow.
almost blew it, almost
Yeah,
missed out for not playing it
It's okay, dude.
during his phase.
That was
You had
a
to do it.
great finish.
Wow, he would have regretted that if he didn't win the
Wow.
tiebreaker.
It's by one spice.
You can hear cheers from the other table, probably the Arc Nova table still being played.
Great game, guys. Great game.
Wow. Holy moly, that was quite the finish.
Yeah, that was absurd. I mean, Dune Imperium does often have a lot of tight finishes, but this one was especially tight. Very
Wow.
good.
And really, like, props to everybody around the table. I think it was back and forth all the time, and I loved seeing that run from David Meredith. Like, who could have easily pulled it out? It was so close on winning a couple of those key victories, but just falling that like one troop short.
Yeah,
And
he played a great game. Other than
yeah,
the start, I think he was he was too slow to get his swordmaster, and
yeah,
still kind of had a great game after making that mistake early.
yeah. I think that forgetting about his Duke Leto power
Yeah,
maybe cost him a little bit of efficiency there, but still a really fantastic game. Some back and forth, just so exciting to watch. And congratulations to Scott Kushner, who moves on into the finals in that final table, which if you haven't seen it, you can go see that. It was streamed live on the Dice Tower, so you can see Scott Kushner face off against 3 of the other semifinal winners. I'm reeling. I'm still reeling, Paul. Like, that was a wild finish.
yeah, fantastic finish, fantastic game overall. I really enjoyed just watching it. You know, even
Mhm.
I applaud all 4 of the players. It was a great competition, and yeah, love to see it.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, what a good game. And hey, if you think that you could have beaten these people at Dune Imperium and made your way into the finals, well, hey, you should come to the World Series of Board Gaming 2024. Tickets are still available. Don't forget to use that code EARLYBIRD to get $100 off your stay and play. And we will see you in Vegas. And who knows, maybe it'll be you taking home that big sweeping Dune Imperium win to get you into the finals, or winning the finals. Dune Imperium has been in our semifinals and was our final game in 2022. And what a fantastic game it is to watch and to experience. Oh, just so much fun. And so, thanks, Paul, for making it.
Well, thanks for enjoying it and for casting these games and for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been super fun. And don't forget to check out Dune Imperium Digital if you want to practice up on your own Dune Imperium, or just have a great time when you're feeling that Dune Imperium itch and your friends aren't around. Yeah, it's super exciting that I love digital implementations, and I love how they can kind of exist with the board games as well. Having a digital implementation doesn't mean I don't get my copy of Dune Imperium out. Just means I get to enjoy it in a different and different way. Well, I guess that's it for us. Hey, Paul.
Yeah, and thank you, Chris. This was a pleasure. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everybody for watching, and stay tuned to the Dice Tower and WSBG's YouTube channel for all the World Series recaps and commentary you could want. We'll see you then. Until then, we're signing off. Thanks again, Paul. This was super fun.
Bye bye.